Well, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome to South Fremont High School here in St. Anthony, Idaho, as we get set for a clash between two teams on a bit of a winning streak for the Jackson Bronx. They won 2 in a row. They come in with a record of 2-1, and for the South Fremont Cougars, they have unbeaten so far in the 22 season, 4-0. As they head into this one. It'll be a good matchup for Jackson Hole Radio. I'm Jake Nichols, and this broadcast brought to you by our friends at Jackson Lumber, Jackson's original board store. The town square inns of Jackson Hole, Antler Inn, Elk Country Inn, Cowboy Village Resort, and 49er Inn and Suites. Great Northern coffee, their old world roasting style makes all the difference. And Wyoming Department of Transportation, keeping our highways safe. This should be a good one between these two teams. Jackson Bronx, a team that's still trying to figure out its identity in the wake of those two glorious teams that went to state championship games. We see a lot of new players on the field. They're calling it a rebuild year, but wait a minute. Maybe not. And then they got a new head coach, David White, and we'll hear more from Coach White later in the pregame. And for South Fremont, kind of more of the same. They lost a real good starting quarterback to graduation, Sean Peebles, from last year. But they've found a new sophomore QB who looks pretty good. The running game is good for South Fremont. This is going to be a real good matchup and a chance for the Jackson Bronx to keep things rolling. 2 wins in a row, but they were both at home. Can this team win on the road? And the third Idaho team we've seen in 4 weeks. And the final game before we get to conference play. It'll be fun, and we're just about 13 minutes from kickoff. We'll get back to more of the pregame show in just a bit. Right after these, and we will talk to head coach David White in a moment about the offense, defense, and our opponents tonight, South Fremont. Right back with more of the Bronx pregame show on Jackson Hole Radio with the SCI Sports Network.
Warm fire, friendly faces, and a cup of great Northern coffee. Just the thing to kick off our Bronx and Cowboy teams. Try our Bronx Blend, a heavy, rich cup of coffee that will run you over like the Bronx football team. Great Northern coffee available at grocery stores and coffee shops around the state. Also available online at greatnortherncoffee.com.
Schools are back in session, and YDOT would like to remind drivers to do their part to make the roads safer. Know where your school zones are in your area and slow down whenever you're nearby. Don't be distracted while driving. This includes talking on the phone and texting. Watch for buses, vans, and cars that are loading or unloading children, and never pass a school bus that has its stop sign arm extended and red lights flashing. Let's work together to make this school year a safe one. This message paid for by YDOT.
You're watching and listening to live coverage of Jackson Hole High School sports on KZ95.
And just a reminder about the broadcast. We are broadcasting audio only in 2 different sources. KZ95 FM, that's 95.3 FM on your radio dial if you're back in the Jackson area. We're also broadcasting audio only worldwide on KZ95.live. And if you'd like to see the broadcast, we're live streaming. It's just a 1-camera shoot, and guess who's your operator? Me. Yeah, so I'll do the best I can. But we got a decent vantage point and a pretty good live stream connection. So if you want to see the game, the live stream feed, find our channel, Jackson Hole Radio, at YouTube. Just go to YouTube and type in Jackson Hole Radio and find the Jackson Hole Radio channel and look for whatever is broadcasting live, which is this game, Jackson versus South Fremont. These two teams have not met each other, have never met. This is one of those rare times. We don't know a lot about South Fremont other than there is a common opponent between these two teams, and that's the Wood River Wolverines. Fremont had an easy time with them early in the season. I believe they saw them in week 1 or 2. And had a 20-8 win over Wood River. And then, of course, Jackson with a 55-12 beatdown of the Wood River Wolverines just a week ago, last Friday. So that may be some indication of what to expect. But ranking-wise in the 3A, these two teams rank pretty similarly, pretty close. We talked to Coach White on some of the things Jackson is doing in the early season that maybe a surprise to me. I did not realize this defense would be so good. Even in the Teton loss in week 0, that 34-12 loss, the defense for Jackson looked very good. 2 late scores by Teton could be attributed to that hurry-up offense that Coach Joyce runs, and I think the Jackson defense was just gassed by that time. But, boy, with a common thread through the 3 games of this Jackson defense has been pressure. This team is aggressive and relentless, pressuring the football on defense. Here's what Coach White said about the game plan as far as the D goes.
Just getting to know these guys. It's not so much what you coach, it's what you emphasize. And my thing, I don't micromanage the defense. Obviously, I want to make sure they have a sound scheme. But for the most part, and what I preach to them every day, coaches and kids, just being relentless and hustling to the ball and showing pressures. I want 2 or 3 pressures installed each week, so that way at least we're bringing some stuff, whether it's man pressure, zone pressure, but letting these kids fly around. Keep things simple, but let's do pressure. I know in the past they've been pretty sound, but they didn't play a lot of pressure stuff. And so again, nothing to do with X and O's. It's just about hustling and having a sense of urgency. And you're teenagers, you know what I mean?
As far as the offense, we talked to Coach White about the offense. That's where I think most of the question marks were. What kind of offense was this going to be in the aftermath of, losing Sadler Smith, 3-time All-State QB Sadler Smith graduated. That's tough to replace. The feature running back, Brody Hasenick is gone. All the receivers from the last couple of years gone. Key pieces to the offensive and defensive line. And, of course, the 2-way standout Coulter Dawson, the tight end linebacker, he's gone, graduated. So you lost so many of those core players that went to the state championship game for the last 2 years. And it's been a winning team for the last 3 or 4. But these are all new faces. And some of the questions starting to get answered. As far as quarterback, you've got senior Owen Jansen. He might be new to the varsity team, but he led this JV team for a couple of years. He's legit, and he's got good size. Jansen at 6'5", and has so far in the early going shown that he can be pretty accurate with his passing. The running game's going to belong mainly to Jack Jenkins. He was quiet in the first 2 weeks, kind of looked better in week 3 against Wood River. He's got some wiggle to him, and he's got some elusiveness and some size to break tackles. I think there's a lot of upside to Jack Jenkins. We haven't seen his top end yet. And then the receiving core, which was a complete mystery, is starting to take shape, particularly slot receiver Thomas May and Jansen to May. That slant pattern has been there so far this year. Money for Coach White. And then on the outside, watch the speed of Xander Witt. That speed burner can really stretch the field, and when Jansen wants to take a shot over the top, Witt is his favorite guy. And then you got the X factor, the X wild card, the Wildcat, and that's Sebastian Brunner, the junior. Seb Brunner's a guy, you just want the ball in his hands. You don't know how, you don't know where, and you don't care. You want him out in space on the edge where he can make a play. In fact, when Coach White put the roster together, the position that Seb Brunner plays that's attributed to him is ATH. And I tried to figure out, well, what is that, a quarterback, a running back? It's simply athlete. And that's where Brunner is, and he could be anywhere on the field. He could be taking snaps out of the Wildcat. He could be playing wide receiver. He caught 7 balls in week 0 against Teton. They just need his speed on the field, and he's going to be a guy to watch important. So this offense starting to take shape, and here's what Coach White had to say about the O.
In the passing game, other thing is, and every team has a certain style, and there's so many different ways of running offense. And my theory is kind of like you said at the beginning. We want to attack those areas that, as a defensive, in my experience, go sideline to side, throw some quick game, out takeoffs, throw some of those not intermediate seam routes, but some of those little quick little hole shot slants to make those guys turn and run and look outside. So now, as we spread them out by formation, we can run the ball. You know what I mean? And so, and trying to understand to the kids, like, we don't adjust a lot on man or zone. If If they have two safeties and one safety, we're attacking this. If they have this, keep it simple. You know what I mean? A lot of times kids pay attention to 11 dudes over there, where really, offensively, quarterback looks at the safeties, then point of attack. Who you reading? That's it. If he does this, you go here. And so each play has a set thing, a quick game. We have two options. If they do this, we're going to do that. And, obviously we got to get better at it. On paper, it looks great, like a lot of coaches, every play is supposed to score. But just having that mindset of width, spreading them out where we can gash them in a run game, but really to throw that ball in space that they're not comfortable with. So, but run game wise, Owen he's basically fell into being the leading rusher by accident a lot of times, by scrambling or some of the QB run game, but he still has to get better. I mean, he's still kind of, when he does hand the ball off, sometimes he'll watch it versus carrying out the fake, or he'll run side by side to the guy instead of actually, going, getting. No, I got something. Yeah. So,
I think,
so he goes.
Yeah, I think
him just understanding.
I think Coach got called away there, but anyway, yeah, the offense starting to come together for Jackson. Obviously, when you hang 55 on an opponent, the offense is starting to gel. We'll see what they do tonight against this South Fremont team. Should be a bit of an offensive battle. Both teams have pretty good offenses. We'll talk about what Fremont has and some particular challenges they may present if the Broncs are going to get a W tonight. We'll look at that and drill down a little bit on this matchup right after these. More of the Broncs pregame show on the home of the Broncs, Jackson Hole Radio and the SVI Sports Network.
Business, and they do it right the first time. Jackson Lumber works with people who make a living building, so the tools they sell are definitely the best hand tools and power tools available, with names like Vest Tool, Milwaukee, Makita, Skillsaw, Senco, Fine, and DeWalt. Jackson Lumber, the board store at 130 South Grovemont. Call 733-6000, 733-6000.
Experience Jackson Hole like a local. Recently renovated, the 49er boasts a new lobby, extended continental breakfast, indoor swimming pool, fitness facility, and 12-person outdoor hot tub. Located on Pearl Street, the 49er is just 3 short blocks from Jackson's greatest bars and restaurants, where you'll find your home away from home. Enjoy your time in Jackson as part of the Town Square Inns, and stay at the 49er Inn and Suites.
Let's get back to the live action on KZ95. Here's Jake Nichols.
Back here at South Fremont High School in St. Anthony, Idaho, as both teams send out their team captains for the coin toss. We're minutes away from kickoff. And taking a look at this South Fremont team, there's that sophomore quarterback is... Boy, I'm going to have a tough time finding him now. I believe, they got a Bryce Johnson. I think it's Bryce Johnson who's been leading the team. And they got Hunter Hobbs, who is a feature back, real tough guy. Jackson's going to have to be careful with Hunter Hobbs. He led this team in rushing last year as a junior, and he's back as a senior. One of the favorite targets on the outside for South Fremont is Skylar Forbush. And Jackson's going to have to make sure they know where he is on the field at all times. Defensively, South Fremont really plugs the middle, and they got an enormous nose guard, a kid who's, I believe, 6'5", 300 pounds. Yeah, Connor Pell. So there's not a lot of running room in the middle normally against South Fremont because he just plugs things up. You don't move a guy who goes 300 pounds. I think you might have to run around it. But here's what Coach White had to say about this Fremont team and how the Broncs are going to try to beat them to get their third win in a row this season.
No, I think they're coached up well. They got a couple big kids. They got one kid, 6'5", 300-pound guy inside, who's a tough kid. But again, you're right. They beat Wood River 20-8. And like I told my kids, don't judge a game on the score of who, what, where. It's about matchups. And they played them August 19th.
I don't care.
I mean, the first 8 days we had a game and we stunk. You know what I mean? We didn't have time to do stuff. It's not excuses.
Okay.
We're not the team that we were then, and they're not the team that they were then. So that's the biggest thing about that. And the other part is on the road. We got to have that on the road mentality. And we have those young guys that first game, and just understanding that is huge. Everybody knows that. That's why it's called home field advantage. And Idaho, that's really what I know about those guys. I know they're 4-0. Our kids know that they're 4-0, and they're playing at home. And I'm not sure what the history's been at the program, but 4-0 and there's a lot of good buzz. So I'm sure they're going to look forward to getting after us Friday. So just kind of get that mindset, man. Get our mind right. Like, hey, we got to go out there and swing for the fences and get better.
Yeah, you know South Fremont wants to keep the train on the tracks and keep it rolling 4-0, and they would love to make it 5-0 here in front of the hometown fans. Jackson Bronx as well, 2-game winning streak, and they'd like to keep that rolling, but Jackson has to prove that they can win on the road. That's a whole different beast. Jackson's 2 wins, both at home, and winning on the road means you need to find energy. You can't count on the crowd to provide that energy, so you got to find it off the bus. You got to find a reason to play, and you got to get hyped right off the bus, and we'll see if the Bronx can do that. We're just minutes away from coin toss and kickoff. We'll come back one last time. We'll be ready to start this one here in South Fremont as the Bronx and Cougars get ready to do battle here in St. Anthony, Idaho.
Northern Coffee. Jackson's own coffee roaster has been roasting and blending a wide selection of coffee since 1979. A warm fire, friendly faces, and a cup of great Northern coffee. Just the thing to kick off our Bronx and Cowboy teams. Try our Bronx Blend, a heavy, rich cup of coffee that will run you over like the Bronx football team. Great Northern coffee available at grocery stores and coffee shops around the state. Also available online at greatnortherncoffee.com.
National anthem played, and we're just about ready to go. We got the sun in our eyes here. That's one thing we won't have to worry about anymore at home after the reconfiguration of the stadium there. But here the visitors get treated to the sun in their eyes, and it's tough on the camera. And I'll apologize now before the broadcast. I am doing the camera. I am doing the technical directing, the on-air talent, the IT, the board op. It's all me. So if I forget to pan the camera or do something wrong with the camera, consider this an audio broadcast with the added benefit feature of video, even though the video right now looking into the sun, and it's going to require me panning it correctly. I'll do the best I can to remember to do that, but bear with me. And we're just about ready to go. I'm glad to see that South Fremont has changed uniforms. Last year's uniform was so difficult to read. They had the dark maroon and then red numbers, which is like impossible to read. This is going to be a lot easier as we get ready to start this. South Fremont Cougars 4-0 here at home, and they're in their home reds trimmed in black. Jackson on the road whites trimmed in black, and both teams ready for the opening kickoff. It looks like it's going to the Jackson Bronx, or moving right to left on your radio dial. One thing we neglected to mention in the pregame about the Jackson offense and defense is that Jackson special teams play has been very good, mostly because of the foot of Braden Hills. And he has been phenomenal, and he's added a little skill set to his repertoire. He is now punting, so he's kicking, punting.
Coming with a record of 2-1, ranked number 3 in the Wyoming 4A division.
And he is a real weapon with his leg. And we're ready to kick things off here for South Fremont. Boy, looking into the sun is going to be vicious. I didn't think we'd have sun today. I thought we'd have a rainy kind of a day, but I guess the good news is we got sun, nice weather. The bad news is I didn't bring my sunglasses. Ready to kick off is Tayson Swisher. Sorry, that's Daniel Alvarez. And there's the kick. It's going to go to the up back, Thomas May. And May is brought down at the 35, or it'll be 1st and 10 Jackson. So Jackson, decent field position to start things off here. Just underway if you're joining us. South Fremont, Jackson, it's the Cougars in the Bronx. And out come the Bronx for the first play of the game, and it will be Owen Jansen at quarterback. Jack Jenkins to the backfield with him. Twins split right and left receivers, and Jansen looks over to the sidelines to make sure he's got the play right. Now makes his pre-snap reads. Here's the snap. to Jansen. He wants to throw early. Flush from the pocket, rolls right, can't find anybody open, going to tuck it and run, and he's going to get a yard out of it, if that, and that's all. It'll be 2nd and 9 for Jackson. He didn't get much help there from the receivers. Once Jansen rolled right, it looked like the receivers were intent on blocking for him rather than trying to scramble and get loose. And that was a very slow-looking rollout by Jansen. So a pickup of 1 is 2nd and 9. 2 receivers split left, 2 to the right again. Jenkins in the backfield with Jansen. And the snap. Play action pass, and now Jansen's going to have to keep him himself as the pass rush got there. It might have been a play action pass play, or it might have been Jansen calling his own number, but either way, pressure early caused Jansen to have to just again tuck it and run. So twice Owen Jansen's had to run. Pickup of about 2 or 3. It's going to be 3rd and long here, 3rd and 6 from the Jackson 39-yard line. Jansen sets him up. It's got Jenkins in the backfield with him. 2 receivers right, 2 left. Jansen wants to throw. Has time. Fires. Got a man. Caught. That's going to be good enough for a 1st down. A 7-yard completion to Xander Witt over the middle in a bang-bang play. Jackson moves the sticks, and it's out to the 47-yard line of the Bronx. And a fresh set of downs for the black and orange. Jansen comes to the sideline to get the play and now returns to the huddle, and that's going to sound weird for some longtime Jackson fans. 5 years of Coach Joyce not huddling. This team does huddle, which is a break for your announcer, believe me. Here's the snap they give to Jenkins. Looks left side, now cuts it back in, and he's met immediately. Popped hard there on the tackle. It was Kaizek Thusen, the 6'1", 195-pound tackle. And Jenkins got nothing there. Might have lost a yard. It'll be 2nd and 11. Jenkins was looking to go off left tackle. It just wasn't there. When he cut it back inside, Thusen was waiting for it. Here comes the Bronx again. Jansen brings 2 receivers split wide left, 1 to the right. Jansen looking to throw. He's going to come near side. Pass caught in the flat, turning it up and getting about 5 on the play is Graham Dalton. Nice quick hitter. That's good for 5, and now a manageable 3rd down coming up for the Bronx. They're also into the South Fremont territory at the 47-yard line. A quick no-huddle here as Jackson tries to take advantage of a scrambling Cougar team. There's a snap pass. That's right side. That's Xander Witt. Cannot break the tackle there of Payson Yancey. A good tackle will bring up 4th down and decision-making time here. You're in that no man's land where too far to kick a field goal, but kind of too short to punt it, and they're going to go. Jackson Bronx, 4th and 5. Are going to go for it here at the Cougar 47-yard line. Jansen, hard count, tries to draw Cougars off, can't do it, and now looks to the sidelines again to see if they do want to run a play. You got twins left and right. Jansen wants to throw over the middle. That's Xander Witt. Same play they used to get the 1st down on the last set of downs. This one will move the sticks again. And that quick slant has been money for the Bronx all season long. Normally it's Thomas May in that slot catching the quick slant, but twice it's been Xander Witt. Jansen Witt has gotten Jackson their first 2 first downs. Ball at the Cougar 42-yard line. 2 receivers split wide right, 1 to the left. 2 runners in the backfield with Jansen this time. The snap of the give is to Jenkins, and he's piled up immediately as South Fremont sniffed that out quickly. This Cougar defensive line looks like the best the Bronx have seen all season long, as Jackson offensive line getting no push whatsoever. And Jenkins has had nowhere to run in a couple of tries now. It'll be 2nd down and 11. Loss of a yard on the play. 7:25 to go in the opening frame. Jackson's had the ball on a drive that began at their own 35. Jansen with the snap, fake to Jenkins, now rolls to his left, looking to throw, being hounded from behind, fires downfield, passes caught, and then dropped. Almost Xander Witt. He gets up looking for a hanky, but won't get it. And a good play defensively by, I believe, Riker Simmons, the free safety who came in and covered Witt at the last second, got a hand in there. And so far in the early going, Jansen has looked for his favorite receiver, Witt, twice for completions. That one almost, but not quite. Now Seb Brunner is going to check in along with the basketball star Andrew Hanna. He comes in as well. We'll see obvious passing down for Jackson. 3rd and long. Jansen sends Witt to the right side this time. He's got trips left that includes Hanna. Snap, and Jansen back to throw. Has time, looking, fires downfield, incomplete. Pass intended for Aiden Grayland, but it was well out of his reach. Jansen had time. That was the good news. It just wasn't anybody open, and that pass was incomplete. So that'll bring up a 4th and long, and now Jackson's going to punt. It will be Braden Hills on to do the punting duty. They'll try to pin the Cougars deep in their own territory. Back to receive for South Fremont. Can't quite see a number on who this is as we get ready with the punt here. So Jackson, a couple of first downs, moved the ball a little bit, and then the drive stalled. There's the kick by Hills. It's high and short. Nobody's going to field this. It'll take one bounce, another, and then a bit of a Jackson roll, and it's down there by Graham Dalton. So the South Fremont Cougars will take over at their own 22-yard line, and we'll get our first look at the South Fremont offense. Just underway if you're joining us. Jackson began the drive at their own 35, picked up a couple of first downs, but then the Cougar defense stiffened, and now we'll see what South Fremont has offensively. And I'll try to, better pan the camera. We'll try to get a look at that quarterback. I believe that will be, I thought he was a sophomore, but that might be a junior, Bryce Johnson, number 9. That's him. He's got good size, 6'2", 190. There's a snap and the handoff to Hobbs rather, off the left side, and good pursuit by Jackson. A pickup of 3. It'll bring up 2nd and 7. That's Hunter Hobbs, the senior running back. He led this team in rushing yardage last year as a junior. And he's a dangerous guy. He doesn't have home run speed, but he's a good running back. He'll get a ton of touches. And you better make sure you know where he is on the field. Skylar Forbush, the wide receiver, is down here in your near side of your screen. He's the dangerous wideout. Johnson up under center, the snap, and the give to Hobbs running right side. He's met immediately there by Jack Jenkins. He had help also from Thomas May, and a good stop there. Just short of the first down. It'll bring up 3rd and about 3, it looks like. First down marker at the 32, and now, we got a flag down. I didn't see that. This is going to be on South Fremont. Not sure what the code looks like. Holding. It is holding on the Cougars, so that'll march them back. It remains 2nd down, but now 2nd and 17 for South Fremont. Bryce Johnson brings him up. He'll go out of the shotgun this time. And again, he's got Skylar Forbush here on the near side, right side, being watched by Grayland. And he wants Forbush. No, the pass is caught, complete to the underneath receiver. And a good Jackson pursuit there. It's Preston Stoddard, the receiver, as they counted on Forbush to kind of clear the area. And then they ran Preston Stoddard in underneath, but the Jackson defense responded quickly and made a good tackle. Pick up just a short gain. Aiden Grayland first there on the stop. Good job by Aiden Grayland, who is really coming along as a cornerback for this Bronx team. His job is to cover Forbush on there, and he left his man once he saw the pass go in underneath. There's Bryce Johnson. Gets the snap. The lefty wants to throw, fires, and it's incomplete. Just short of his intended receiver, Colby Clark, as he threw that ball into the ground. That's going to bring up 4th and long in a punting situation here, you would think, for South Fremont. Jackson will send Sebastian Brunner back to receive this kick. With 5:11 to go in the first, both teams have had a shot at it, and both teams unable to really move the ball. South Fremont couldn't get a first down. Jackson got a couple. But so far, it's the defenses ruling the day here. And it looks like Bryce Johnson, the quarterback, does the punting here. He's back to kick, and the ball spotted there at the 20-yard line. Here we go. Sebastian Brunner standing at his own 44-yard line. We're ready. And the snap. It's a good one. The kick is off. It's pretty good. Sebastian Brunner's going to catch it at his own 44. Spins away. No, he doesn't. Tried to spin away from the grasp of Stoddard, but Stoddard got him, and Seb Brunner was going nowhere. So a good kick puts Jackson on their side of the 50 again, but another good starting field position for the Bronx. They're at the 43-yard line, their own 43, 1st and 10. Both teams have touched the ball now offensively. No score early here in the first. The Bronx huddle along the near sidelines here, as they will with every change of possession. Coach White calls the play in the huddle from the sidelines, and here comes the black and orange. Ball at the far hash, right hash. 2 receivers split left. It's Brunner along with Graham Dalton. Owen Jansen, of course, at quarterback, and Jack Jenkins joins him at his left hip in the backfield. Here's the snap, looking near side here for Dalton. Got him. Dalton tries to elude the tackle, but cannot, of Colby Clark. Clark wraps him up and brings him down, and the play gains nothing. Just a quick outside shot, trying to get your playmakers out in space. That has been working in the early going, but these South Fremont Cougars might have been watching some film. They have covered that well, and there was nowhere to go there for Graham Dalton. Here's Jansen, 2nd and 10 now. The snap, Owen Jansen wants to throw. Early pressure, steps up in the pocket. Now he's going to tuck it and run across midfield to the South Fremont 47-yard line and near a first down. We'll see where they mark it. I believe he's going to be just shy. And no, they're going to say first down. Referee signals first, so Owen Jansen went and got that. Here's a snap Jansen gives to Jenkins. He's met right away by a host of tacklers. Picks up 1 to the South Fremont 45-yard line. That's all. It'll be 2nd and 9. Running game just hasn't been there for Jenkins against this much bigger South Fremont team. But we'll see if they can get worn down a little as we move along. 3:50 to go in the first. No score. South Fremont Jackson. Owen Jansen comes up. He's got 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Fullback in the backfield with Jenkins is Hannah. Rolling right is Jenkins. He's got somebody over the top. Long ball to Xander Witt, and it's incomplete. Witt had beaten his man and was loose deep. I'm sorry if the camera, I got to pan that camera. That was Xander Witt, who had gotten by everybody. Skylar Forbush, the safety, was supposed to be the guy covering him. Forbush stuck up his arm as a desperation to knock the ball down. He did not make contact with the ball, but what he did is disrupt Witt's vision, and the ball bounced right off of Xander Witt. And that was a missed opportunity right there. Good shot over the top, though, by Owen Jansen. That was the right play. It just couldn't make it work. 3rd down and long. Jansen looking. He wanted Witt in the flat, but now he's going to run it himself, and he's brought down hard at the 45-yard line. In on the stop was Hadley Hill, the 6'1", 170-pound defensive end. Jansen is maybe a little shaken up as he comes to the sidelines, takes off his helmet, took a hard hit. 4th and long, 4th and 7. Jackson will again punt, but Boy, put that one play in your memory banks. That long shot over the top that almost worked. Here's the punt. Nobody's going to field it. Takes a Jackson bounce. It's going to roll, and be finally downed by the Bronx deep in South Fremont territory. Jordan Vargas Ramirez touches it up, and the Cougars will start from deep in their own end. So the battle of field position won so far by Jackson, as they have kind of commanded that part of the game, but nobody's been able to get in the end zone yet. South Fremont will start at their own 12-yard line. Bryce Johnson brings him up. Hunter Hobbs in the backfield. Forbush split wide to the left side this time. Jackson in the cover 0 with Sebastian Brunner deep. Handoff to Hobbs, wiggles away from a couple of tacklers. Now he's stacked up by a host of the Bronx team. They got out to just short of the 15. Pickup of maybe 3, 2nd and 7 coming up for the Cougs. Jackson defensive line doing a good job standing up to a bigger offensive front. Bronx have been able to do that for years. They've never really outsized their opponent, but through technique and tenaciousness, they don't get pushed around. 2nd and 7. South Fremont. Bryce Johnson gets the snap. Give to Hunter Hobbs. No, he's going to keep it himself. Look out. He's out there for a first down near the 15. And a good play. Good fake to Hobbs, and you had a couple of Bronx that bought on that. And we said Terrence Johnson, the quarterback's got some pretty good size to him. The junior is 6'3", 210 pounds. So when he tucks it and runs, he reminds you a little bit of a guy we used to have in black and orange, Sadler Smith. Good size quarterback. The only difference is he's a left-hander. Johnson brings him up. Got 2 receivers split wide right. One in the backfield with him is Hobbs. Man in motion. The fake to Hobbs, and now the give. Fly sweep left side. That fools everybody. And a good pickup out near the 30 for Preston Stoddard, rather, the slot receiver. And a well-designed play, fly sweep, and there was a lot of room over in there on that far side, left side. Good pickup of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4 for South Fremont as the sun just setting here in St. Anthony, Idaho. Johnson to the line of scrimmage. He's got twin receivers to the left side, twin right. Hobbs in the backfield with him. Now flags. Somebody moved on the Cougars side of the ball. Hanna made sure the referee saw that. Andrew Hanna said that was this guy. And they will mark that one off. So brings up a 2nd and 9 now. And erases that good run by Preston Stoddard. 1:20 to play in the first. No score, and we said these two teams fairly evenly matched. If you look at the rankings, trying to compare Wyoming 3A schools with Idaho 3A schools, if you do the math, they come out pretty evenly. And here's a fake to Stoddard and a throw out in the backfield to Hunter Hobbs. Jackson reads it well, though. Right there is Jack Jenkins first to meet him. Got help there from Lucas Grayland. And Hobbs didn't have a whole lot of room. Good play. They tried it. They faked that same fly sweep to Stoddard and instead came back with a sneaky little pass play to Hunter Hobbs, but Jackson read it well. It'll bring up 3rd down at about 4 with a ball just outside the South Fremont 30-yard line. Big play coming up here as the Cougars trying to move into some decent field position. 2 men in motion at the same time here as Johnson barks out the signal, gives the ball to Hobbs. No, he's going to keep it himself on an RPO. Looking left side, trying to find room, and Jackson stretches it out well. This is going to be close. I don't know if he got it. If he did, it wasn't by much, as Johnson kept it himself, and the Bronx defenders strung it out well. He's trying to run to Lucas Grayland's side, and Lucas Grayland, very good linebacker. Well, that'll do it for the first quarter. We'll take this break with them after 1. We got no score here in South Fremont. We'll be back with more Bronx football on Jackson Hole Radio and the SVI Sports Network.
Jackson Lumber, the board store, Jackson's oldest business and only true lumber yard in town. Jackson Lumber's hardware people are the best in the business, and they do it right the first time. Jackson Lumber works with people who make a living building, so the tools they sell are definitely the best hand tools and power tools available, with names like Vest Tool, Milwaukee, Makita, Skillsaw, Senco, Fine, and DeWalt. Jackson Lumber, the board store at 130 South Grovemont. Call 733-6000, 733-6000.
This is KZ95 with live coverage of the Jackson Bronx.
Back to the live action. Once again, a reminder that we are broadcasting on radio, KZ95, 95.3 FM. We're audio only on KZ95.live. And we're live streaming on our YouTube channel at Jackson Hole Radio YouTube channel. Thanks for tuning in, no matter where you're tuning in from. As the first fourth down play, first play of the second quarter. Looks like South Fremont got enough as they plow straight ahead with, not sure who that was on the carry. Obviously, my camera missed it as well as we've switched sides of the field. Yeah. So a first down by the skin of their teeth. South Fremont keep their drive moving. Ball at their own 36-yard line. Neither team's been able to do too much offensively, but the Cougars trying to at least get out of the shadow of their own goalpost and put together a drive here. Bryce Johnson up under center. The snap of the pitch to Hobbs. Hobbs looking right side. It's got some blocking. It breaks down quickly, however, and the Bronx do a good job to get to Hobbs after a pickup of about a yard, maybe two. It'll be second and 9, looks like. Jackson doing a good job. They do have speed on defense. To get the edge on the Bronx is not easy. This defense has a ton of speed, and they fly to the ball. Second and 9 for South Fremont. Skylar Forbush on the near side wide receiver. Hunter Hobbs in the backfield along with Bryce Johnson. Johnson the snap, gives it to the fullback this time. And a good surge there. And a pretty good game by Hadley Hill, the fullback, 6'1", 170. And Hill moves the pile to very near a first down to bring 3rd and 1. 3rd and a short yard. Hill has been in there a couple of times with Hobbs in the backfield as the lead blocker. This time he got the call, and boy, he just plowed his way for a pickup of 8 to make it 3rd and 1 for the Cougars. Up under center is Bryce Johnson, the left-handed junior quarterback. Snap, he's going to call his own number, plows ahead, and along with the help of the offensive line, he's got more than enough. He's across midfield with that push. And that's one thing South Fremont is going to be able to do tonight. They're just much bigger at the line of scrimmage. And you saw an example there is, well, maybe you didn't see it. I got to pan again. I'm sorry for the camera. Normally I have a camera operator, but I could not find one for this game. Camera operator being the wife, of course. Not willing to travel to St. Anthony, Idaho. Bryce Johnson brings him up. Fresh set of downs for the Cougars. They're in Jackson territory for the first time tonight. Wants to throw. Early pressure, but he slips away. Now fires. Got a man. Caught and hit immediately by Thomas May and just short of the first down. So a missed tackle. Sorry, that wasn't May on the tackle. That was Drew Greibel who made the hit on Hadley Hill, but that play was extended because of the missed tackle in the backfield. This Terrence Johnson is Bryce Johnson, rather, a big kid to bring down, and you've got to wrap him up. Jackson did the same thing in week 0 against Teton. They pressured the quarterback but failed to tackle him. You've got to finish the tackles. There's a handoff to Hadley Hill. He's got a ton of room on the right side. Rumbles for a first down to the Jackson 25-yard line. First and 10, South Fremont, and that offensive line starting to assert itself against Jackson's smaller defense. That was a big hole there for Hadley Hill. Hobbs, normally their feature running back, has found little room to work, but Hill has created his own room. He is a big guy. He doesn't need much of a hole. He just makes his own. Johnson up under center. The snap and the give is to Hobbs this time. And he drags a tackler with him. That's Thomas May to the 20-yard line. Pick up a 5. They'll spot it at the 19. Gain of 6. It'll be 2nd and 4 for the Cougars, and they're moving now. Jackson defense been out there a long time. They had the benefit of getting the break at the end of the first quarter, but they've been out there for a ton of time. Let's see if they can bend and not break here as South Fremont comes up with a 2nd and 4 with the ball at the Jackson 19. This time of the shotgun, Johnson has got Hobbs in the backfield with him. Looks like they want to throw. We'll see. And flags before the snap. Somebody moved, and that's twice now that South Fremont's been hit with motion before the snap, and that's going to cost the Cougars as they march this one off. Instead of 2nd and 4, it'll be 2nd and 9. Just underway in the second quarter. No score here in St. Anthony, Idaho, between two teams on winning streaks. Jackson's won 2 in a row, and the South Fremont Cougars undefeated in 4 tries so far in 2022. South Fremont was 4-6 last year with Drew Peebles as their quarterback. Johnson gives to Hobbs. Hobbs escapes one tackle inside and now finds his way to the Jackson 15, where he's brought down by the free safety, Sebastian Brunner. If your free safety is making tackles, that's not a good sign. That's enough for a first down. Ball exactly at the Jackson 15. It's 1st and 10 for the South Fremont Cougars. Again, Hobbs in the backfield. Johnson out of the shotgun. Bryce Johnson calls the signal. Give to Hobbs. No, Johnson going to keep it himself and pick up maybe 2 or 3. Not a lot of room inside there. They'll give him 3. It'll be 2nd and 7 as the Cougars on the march here early in the second quarter. Neither team has scored. 0-0. But South Fremont with the game's most impressive drive so far. And you got a lot of Jackson defenders with hands on hips on that side of the ball. Here come the Cougars. They split 2 receivers wide right. This time it's Hadley Hill, the lone guy in the backfield, along with Johnson. Johnson puts a man in motion. The snap. Fake to Hill. He wants to throw. Lefty fires. Nobody there. It's incomplete. Pass intended for Preston Stoddard, but it was overthrown. It'll bring up 3rd and 7. And with the running plays working so well, it's a surprise Fremont South went to the pass play there, but 3rd and 7. Hobbs is not on the field, but Hadley Hill is, so you got to think Hill would be getting a ball here, or maybe the big quarterback, Bryce Johnson, will keep it himself. Trips left with Hill in the backfield along with Bryce Johnson. 3rd and 7 for South Fremont. Shotgun snap, back to throw, plenty of time, and the pass is caught. Good tackle immediately, short of the first down. That was Justin Castino on the tackle. Whitmore, the receiver for South Fremont, but that's short of the first down. The ball is just inside the Jackson 10. Here's the biggest play of the game now. With 6:36 to play in the second quarter, it's 4th and 4 for the Cougars, and they're going. Jackson defense has to come up big here. Johnson comes up. He's got Hadley Hill in the backfield. 2 receivers split wide right. In the shotgun, Johnson, he wants to throw. He's going to roll right. Hanna puts his hand up and screens it. The pass is complete. Touchdown along the right side. And a nice play there. Andrew Hanna had good penetration from his left end. Put his hands in the air to try to shield the eyes there of Bryce Johnson, but it didn't work. Johnson found Preston Stoddard for the touchdown pass. A first score for South Fremont, 6-0. The PAT is up and no good. So we'll see if that comes back to haunt South Fremont. But with 6:17 to go in the first, it's 6-0 Cougars. We'll be back with more on the home of the Bronx, Jackson Hole Radio of the SVI Sports Network.
They say the best offense is a good defense. This theory applies on Wyoming roads and highways just as much as on the football field or the basketball court. Your game plan should always include wearing a seatbelt, and that goes for everyone in the vehicle. Check road conditions before you go. Call 511 or download the Y.511 511 app for road information at your fingertips. Finally, put away distractions, especially your phone, so you're better prepared for the unexpected. This message brought to you by Y.Dot.
Here's your voice of the Jackson Bronx, Jake Nichols on KZ95.
Back to the live action at South Fremont. The Cougars strike first. Touchdown pass, Bryce Johnson to Preston Stoddard. And it's 6-0 after the missed PAT as we get ready to kick it off. Back deep to receive Seb Brunner and Xander Witt, both standing at about their own 10-yard line. We'll see if Jackson has an answer here to South Fremont's size. The Bronx have been able to do a good job this season using their speed to kind of neutralize teams that are bigger than them. There's the kick, and it's Sebastian Brunner running left side. He's across the 30 to about the 33-yard line. 1st and 10 for the Jackson Bronx. Larson making the tackle for South Fremont, and here's Jackson's third crack at it, third possession. They were able to move the ball in their first possession, and then the drive stalled a bit, and they had a shot, Xander Witt from Owen Jansen, that could have been a touchdown pass, but dropped by Witt. So there have been opportunities. Witt and Brunner split wide to the right, trips right, along with slot receiver Thomas May as Jansen lines up in the gun with Jenkins along his right hip, looking to throw early, wants a shot over the top, intended for Sebastian Brunner, but he was well covered. And the pass overthrown, incomplete. Riker Simmons on the coverage. Brunner thought he was being held, but the play wasn't quite there. And now Jansen coming over to get the play. Jansen favoring, looks like his right side. Yeah, there's Owen Jansen has hurt his right shoulder or right arm, something in the right side of his body. So Seb Brunner will come in and quarterback this team. And Coach White will often go to Brunner. Jansen might have hit his hand on somebody's helmet. I'm not sure, but he is hurt. And that'll bring Seb Brunner in now. Brunner gets the snap, gives to Jenkins. He's swallowed immediately behind the line of scrimmage. And that'll be a loss of 3. It's Payson Yancey on the tackle, and that didn't fool anybody. It'll bring up 3rd and long now for the Bronx, and Jansen's still being looked at on the right sideline. Something upper body, right side, throwing side, I believe, although now they're looking at his left arm. So not sure what that is. As Seb Brunner breaks the huddle. 3rd and long. What do you dial up here? 3rd and 15 for the Bronx. You got Xander Witt wide to the right. Jenkins in the backfield along with Sebastian Brunner. The snap, Seb's rolling left, looking to throw. Now tucks it. He's going to run. Makes one tackler miss and is driven out of bounds short of the 40 and well short of the first down. Out to about the Jackson 37, 38-yard line, but the Bronx are going to have to punt. That is not enough. For a first down. So Jackson's answer wasn't really there. And of bigger concern is the health of Owen Jansen, the quarterback, who is still being looked at. It does look like his left elbow, his non-throwing elbow, and Braden Hills will punt it away here. Snap's a good one. The kick is off, and back to receive is Stoddard. Fair catch, or actually took a knee there at the 31-yard line. So that's where South Fremont will start their drive. 1st and 10 at their own 31. The Cougars lead this one in the early going 6-0. We've got 5:07 to play in the half, and we'll keep that close eye on Owen Jansen, who does not play defense, so they'll have time to look him over here. Coach White walks over and wants to know from the training staff what's wrong and can my guy go? Meanwhile, South Fremont ready to roll again offensively, as Bryce Johnson comes up under center. Johnson the snap, back to throw. Lefty fires one out. He's got Hunter Hobbs out of the backfield. Hobbs picks up room across the 35. He's tackled by Thomas May, who got some help, but it's a pickup of 5, 2nd and 5 for South Fremont. And a well-designed play to try to find ways to get Hunter Hobbs the ball without handing off to him. Hobbs has found very little room to run out of the backfield, but he has caught a couple of balls. Meanwhile, it's been Hadley Hill who has had the success running for South Fremont. And now it's Hill and Hobbs in the backfield. Johnson under center. The give is to Hobbs, right side. He's got a big hole, cuts it outside the hash now, and he's got a 1st down and more out to the 49-yard line before he's tackled by Brunner and Jenkins. Oh, I got to get my camera rolling again, sorry. Ball at the Jackson 49 and a fresh set of downs as they move the sticks. 1st and 10 for South Fremont. They lead 6-0. 4:12 to go in the first half. Bit of a defensive battle. As South Fremont, though, starting to impose their will with their size. As Johnson goes now to the shotgun. Bryce Johnson, the snap, handoff to Hobbs, goes inside left side. He's stacked up, rather that is Hill. But Hill picks up another 5, and it's 2nd and 5. And those running plays earlier in the game, they were gaining just a yard or two, are now going for 5 and 6. So that Jackson defense starting to wear down under the bigger offensive line of South Fremont. 2nd and 4 for the Cougars. It's Hill in the backfield. Johnson taking the shotgun snap. 2 receivers wide right, 1 to the left near side. The snap, looking to throw is Johnson. Pressured, fires, got a man, caught. And around the 22-yard line, Jack Jenkins on, or rather Aiden Graylin on the stop, but not before the completion for a 1st down. Bryce Johnson has looked pretty accurate with his passes. It was his touchdown pass to Preston Stoddard that accounted for the game's only score now, as South Fremont once again on the move deep in Jackson territory. 1st and 10, man in motion. Johnson the snap, wants to throw again. He's looking right side, fires behind the receiver, and the back shoulder throw didn't work there. Looking for Stoddard. Well, that ball was thrown behind him. I don't know if that was intentionally behind, but it was just too far behind. It'll bring up 2nd and 10. Ball at the Jackson 22-yard line. South Fremont already lead 6-0 on a touchdown pass on their last drive. 2:43 clock stop, 2:43 to go in the half. 2 receivers to the left side, 2 to the right. Johnson with Hobbs in the backfield with him. Gets the snap, fake to Hobbs, wants to throw, heavy pressure. Johnson gets rid of it, however. Now that's going to go to the house. Touchdown, South Fremont, as Coach White sold out on the blitz. And South Fremont had the perfect play dialed up. I believe it was Hobbs on the touchdown reception. Looked like kind of a screenplay, whatever it was. Johnson had a release valve in case of a blitz. He got the blitz and then just flipped it to Hobbs, who rolled into the end zone easily. And here comes the point after. They're going to go for 2. Snap, Johnson gives to the second man, right side, and he's in. So it makes it 14-0 with 2:41 to play in the half. So Jackson dug themselves a bit of a hole here. We'll see if they have any kind of a response. We'll take a break and come back. The score, with 2:41 to go in the second quarter, is South Fremont 14, Jackson nothing. You're listening and watching Jackson Bronx basketball on Jackson Hole Radio and the SVI Sports Network.
Great Northern Coffee. Jackson's own coffee roaster has been roasting and blending a wide selection of coffee since 1979. A warm fire, friendly faces, and a cup of Great Northern Coffee. Just the thing to kick off our Bronx and Cowboy teams. Try our Bronx Blend, a heavy, rich cup of coffee that will run you over like the Bronx football team. Great Northern Coffee, available at grocery stores and coffee shops around the state. Also available online at greatnortherncoffee.com.
Your home for Jackson Hole High School sports is KZ95. Let's get back to the game.
Back to the live action. South Fremont kicking off, moving right to left on your video screen. 14-0 Cougars lead this over the Jackson Bronx. 2 touchdown passes, Johnson to Stoddard, and then Johnson to Hobbs. Here's the kick. It's high and short. Fielded by the up back. Ball's loose. But goes right in the arms of 22. I don't have a 22 on my roster, do I? 22. It's Beckett Maher. And Jackson with good field position here with the ball at their own 45-yard line. And it does look like Owen Jansen will return to the scene. That's good news for the Bronx. He left the game for a few plays with an apparent injury to his left shoulder, which he does wear that arm sleeve, so maybe he has an issue there. But Jansen back in the game. He's got 2 receivers left, 2 right. Jenkins in the backfield with him. The usual setup. Man in motion is Seb Brunner. There's the snap, looking to throw. Jansen got a man. It's Brunner in the flat. Brunner shakes off one tackler and now slips out of bounds. He's got a first down, however, and good, well-designed play there. Seb Brunner has got a ton of speed, and if he gets loose into that second part of your secondary, that could be trouble. So a quick pass and catch there. Jansen and the Bronx move the sticks. Plenty of time, 2:27 to go in the half. Jackson trying to answer to 2 Cougars scores. They're down 14-0 in the early going. 2 receivers left, 1 right. Jenkins in the backfield. Jansen fake, wants to throw, and pounded immediately as Thomas May, as that play was noticed carefully by by Raiden Whitmore, first to meet Thomas May, and no gain on the play. It'll be 2nd and 10. Ball's at the 43-yard line of the Cougars. Jackson has tried that bread and butter pass in the flat, but South Fremont, for the most part, has had none of it. Jansen's going to have to throw downfield at some point and stretch this Cougar defense a little. Jansen looking to throw, has time, fires, wants it long, and it's just tipped by Stoddard. Pass intended for Thomas May, but broken up by Preston Stoddard. May had gotten behind him, but knocked incomplete. A good play by Stoddard there. 3rd down and 10 with 1:37 to go in the half. Ball at the 43-yard line of the Cougars, and Jackson needs a big play here. 4-down territory, you would imagine. 2 receivers to the right side, 1 to the left. Jenkins in the backfield along with Jansen. Shotgun snap. Jansen wants to throw, has time. Now he's going to tuck it and run up the middle. and he's tripped up. Did not get much. Out to the 40. Pickup of a couple, but Jansen gave up very early on that pass play and decided to run, and that's a timeout for the Bronx with 1:25 to go. We'll keep it here as Coach White has a decision to make. 4th and 8 coming up for the Jackson Bronx. Now, what kind of play could you dial up here? Those passes in the flat have not worked on South Fremont. Either they've watched film or they've got it figured out, but that hasn't been there for the Bronx. The quick slant passes that have been money for the Bronx all season so far, Jackson hasn't really attempted many of those, and it's a little bit surprising. And Owen Jansen has taken a couple of shots over the top, but just missed on both those tries. Xander Witt dropped one, and that pass just a moment ago intended for Thomas May was broken up by Preston Stoddard. So close, but no cigar kind of thing for the Jackson offense that's looked pretty good at times and then sputtered at others. And the Bronx take the field. Let's see if they have a 4th and 8 play dialed up. Sebastian Brunner in the slot on the left side. Can't see who that is to his right. 2 receivers also to the right side. Owen Jansen with the snap. He wants to throw. Heavy pressure early. Jansen runs for his life. Now fires downfield. Looking for a man, and it's incomplete. Xander Witt had a chance at it, and the visiting fans rather want pass interference, and boy, that sure looked like they had a point to be made. Xander Witt did look like he was interfered with, but that's the second pass Witt has dropped that was a catchable ball, and that's on him. He was interfered with early on that play, no doubt, but he was able to shake off his coverage and almost make that catch, but he dropped the ball. So turnover on downs with 1:16 to go. South Fremont, we'll see if they've got a 2-minute offense they can dial up. 2 receivers right, 2 left. Snap to Johnson, looking to throw. No, delayed handoff to Hill, and he's going nowhere. Hobbs, rather. And a tackle made by Thomas May, who got into the backfield. Good tackle for a loss. 2nd and 11 now for South Fremont. That delayed draw play did not fool Thomas May. And another timeout here, and not sure who called this one, but with 1:11 to go in the half, Jackson trailed 14-0. They've had a couple of opportunities, just haven't been able to sustain a drive. South Fremont, meanwhile, offensively is beginning to push Jackson around, especially Hadley Hill, the fullback, who's had a pretty good day on the ground, and their quarterback has got very good size, Bryce Johnson, at 6'3", 210. Jackson outsized, but have been game so far this first half. Maybe guilty of looking a little bit flat off the bus. Thomas May admitted that was the case in week 0 against the Timberwolves. Jackson just was not ready to play. Coach White said simply, we stunk. But you only had 11 days to prepare for that first game against Teton. Here, meanwhile, back to the action. South Fremont looking to throw. Johnson's got all kinds of time now. Flush from the pocket, rolls to his left. Still looking downfield. Got a man wide open, caught. Complete to Stoddard right near the sticks. And this is going to be close to a first down. Ball at the Jackson 49. Nearest man on the coverage was Thomas May. But Johnson extended that play by slipping away from the pressure, and that's a first down. So 1st and 10 with 1:03. That play just took 8 seconds to run, and South Fremont's in business again as the clock starts up under a minute to go. Johnson with the shotgun. The snap, looking to throw. Jackson sends pressure. Throw to the right side is complete. Pickup of maybe a yard at the most. It wasn't much there. And now another timeout. I didn't see who made that reception on the far side of the field. And the timeout is South Fremont trying to put together this last 2-minute drive. 49 seconds to play in the half. The Cougars already up 14-0. A Bryce to Stoddard pass completion accounted for their first touchdown. The PAT missed. And then a Johnson to Hunter Hobbs completion for a touchdown. And they went for 2 and made it. Those are the 2 scores so far for South Fremont. And they're trying to put another one on the board here in the waning moments of the second quarter. Both teams come out now from their huddles. South Fremont will send 2 receivers left, 2 right. Bryce Johnson will take the snap in the backfield with him. I believe that's Hunter Hobbs. Shotgun snap. Johnson, he wants to throw. Can't find a man. Scrambling. Pressure getting there. Now he just throws up a prayer, and May almost intercepted that. Thomas May was the nearest receiver to that ball, and he's wearing the wrong jersey if you're Bryce Johnson. So good pressure there by Jackson causes Johnson to have to scramble and throw a prayer, and it's now 3rd and 9. And Fremont almost self-destructed there. Boy, a turnover would have been nice if you're Jackson. 3rd and 9, 42.5 seconds to go. And the Cougars line it up again, this time in a little more conservative bunch package. 2 receivers to the right. Johnson still in the shotgun, got Hunter Hobbs with him in the backfield. Wants to throw, looking for Hobbs in this flat, but no, fires, and what a hit there. Bam! Tackle made by Justin Castino on the completion. That's going to be short of a first down to bring up 4th down and 7, I believe, maybe 6, and another final timeout for South Fremont as they try to figure out what they want to do here. 4th and 6, 27 seconds to play in the half. South Fremont's 2-minute drill so far not looking very impressive, or rather the Jackson Bronx defense is looking impressive. Jackson trying to make a defensive stand here and then get in the clubhouse, get in the locker room and figure out what they can do offensively to get back into this one. Down 14-0. Their offense has looked decent at times, Jackson's has, but just haven't been able to sustain a drive, put together a complete drive. They had a couple of shots downfield to Xander Witt, who failed to make the reception. Here comes South Fremont, and they will punt it. Bryce Johnson will do the kicking, and Jackson will send Sebastian Brunner back to receive. So South Fremont not taking any chances. We'll see if Brunner can bring one to the house. He's got a ton of speed. Here's the snap. Johnson gets the kickoff. It's a low line drive kick. Brunner's going to field it on 1 bounce. Looking left side. Cannot shake that tackle, and he's dragged down at the 10-yard line. And the Bronx might just take an E here with 17.5 seconds to go. Ball deep in their own territory. They will huddle it up along the sidelines and discuss things, Coach White. I'm not sure you have many options here. The offense hasn't been able to find pay dirt yet, and be a lot to expect. 90 yards in 17 seconds. Here comes the offense, though. Xander Witt split wide to the right side. In the backfield is Jenkins. 2 receivers to the left. In the shotgun, Owen Jansen. Fremont playing well off the ball in the secondary. Here's the give to Jenkins, right side. Now cuts it up inside. Got a little bit of room, and he's hit hard there. And I thought the ball popped loose, but it might have, but I think Jackson recovered it. Good run by Jenkins as he turned that ball up middle and is very near a first down out to the 20-yard line. But that will do it for the half, so nothing but statistics. That's it. At the end of the half, it's South Fremont 14, Jackson nothing. We'll be back with a halftime show on the home of the Bronx, Jackson Hole Radio and the SVI Sports
High Country
Network.
Linens Paper and Cleaning Supply Outlet
we've got you covered. We have cleaning supplies for all your needs, like Bona hardwood floor cleaner, brooms and mops, dusters and buffers, Swiffers and brushes, scrubbers and squeegees for every job, Murphy oil, orange oil, and Pledge for your home or office, products from the Clean Environment Company, Envirox, and bathroom cleaners from the Natural House for the safe environmental solution. For dishwashers to laundry, Cascade and Jet Dry, Dawn and Joy, Tide, Arm & Hammer, Shout, Clorox, and Bounce. And get the window cleaning tools the pros use, spray bottles, extended washers, buckets, and squeegees for the cleanest windows. Browse products at highcountrylinen.com or call 739-1311, 739-1311, or drop in at High Country Linen's Paper and Cleaning Supply Outlet, 335 North Glenwood Street, open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and don't forget, we deliver.
Great Northern Coffee. Jackson's own coffee roaster has been roasting and blending a wide selection of coffee since 1979. A warm fire, friendly faces, and a cup of Great Northern Coffee. Just the thing to kick off our Bronx and Cowboy teams. Try our Bronx Blend, a heavy, rich cup of coffee that will run you over like the Bronx football team. Great Northern Coffee, available at grocery stores and coffee shops around the state. Also available online at greatnortherncoffee.com.
Experience Jackson Hole like a local. Recently renovated, the 49er boasts a new lobby, extended continental breakfast, indoor swimming pool, fitness facility, and 12-person outdoor hot tub. Located on Pearl Street, the 49er is just 3 short blocks from Jackson's greatest bars and restaurants, where you'll find your home away from home. Enjoy your time in Jackson as part of the Town Square Inns and stay at the 49er Inn and Suites.
At the half here in St. Anthony, Idaho, where the Cougars lead the Bronx 14-0. Lights on in the stadium and lights off in the Jackson offense, maybe. I don't know. The offense has definitely sputtered at times, but shown some signs of life. Still, remember, this is a Bronx team. We're still trying to figure out who they are because, you know, not only did you lose a ton of players from that championship run team, you know, 2 shots at the state title in 21 and 20. Also, another successful season. You know, 4 out of the 5 seasons under head coach David Joyce, other than that first season when he went winless, were winning seasons for Jackson. We've got used to some winning football here in Jackson Hole and a Bronx team that really had their way with everybody except maybe Cody. So when you graduate those guys, a Sadler Smith, a Brody Hasenick, a Coulter Dawson, and a host of other players, it's tough to replace, and we figured it'd be a bit of a rebuilding year. And especially when you bring in a new head coach, let's not forget that. Coach David Joyce departs over the hill to head up the Teton Timberwolf program. So you got a new head coach, David White, who, when we sat down and talked to him preseason, admitted, I don't know much about this team yet. He got here during spring break. His first experience in Jackson Hole with a football team was getting here for spring break and being surprised that nobody was here. He said, well, where's this football team I got to work with? We were all gone for 2 weeks. He's like, I don't know of another school gets 2 weeks for spring break. Where is everybody? When he finally did get a look at his team, he had 11 days to prepare for the Teton Timberwolves. That's it. I mean, that's what's allowed in Wyoming high school football. Your first day of practice in pads is 11 days before the week 0 game. That's not too many days to learn what you have to work with if you're Coach White. But he's done a very good job of figuring out who's who and how to take advantage of some of the things Jackson has and how to protect the team from some of its shortcomings, and shortcomings being this not a very big team. And almost every game, Jackson's going to be outsized on the line of scrimmage So what do? Well, you try to get the ball outside on the edge. You try to get the ball into the hands of your speedier playmakers and let them do things in space. And White's been able to do that for the most part in the first 3 games of the season. He's been able to get the ball to Thomas May, to Xander Witt, to Sebastian Brunner, guys with speed, guys with elusiveness who can make plays. When that doesn't happen, you've always had Owen Jansen, 6'5", 195. He can just tuck it and run. So the idea is you've got some offensive weapons. It has worked for the most part in the early going. Suddenly here in South Fremont, it's not working, not yet. And Coach White is going to have to dial up some X's and O's and try to figure out why it's not, what needs to change. But these South Fremont Cougars have not allowed Jackson really to do much. And the Bronx had the advantage of good field position early, just have not been able to take advantage of it. We'll see if they can make the changes they need to make. Meanwhile, the defense, well, they've looked good all year, and they've looked pretty sharp against South Fremont. The Cougars able to put together a few drives behind the running of Hadley Hill. He's their fullback. He's got pretty good size, 6'1", 170. Hill's had a good game rushing. Hunter Hobbs, their feature back, 5'10", 185-pound senior, has been dangerous at times, more so as a receiver than as a running back. And then this quarterback, he's legit. And this is the team that was wondering how they were going to replace Cayman Peebles, who was, boy, I want to say that guy was 6'5", 230. I mean, he was a gigantic quarterback. When you watch game film on South Fremont last year, you couldn't help but notice their quarterback, number 6. You say, this guy is huge. He looks like an NFL player. And that was their QB, and he just ran people over. So who is going to step up, be the quarterback this year? Well, it's another big kid, and it's this Bryce Johnson, number 9. The lefty's had a very good game, 6'3", 210 junior, and he's been pretty good. Jackson's pressured him, however. Coach White has shown that pass pressure. He's brought some blitz packages, and they have gotten the backfield and harassed Johnson. Backfired on that touchdown pass to Hunter Hobbs. They almost got to Johnson, but it looked like South Fremont was ready for it. They designed a little kind of a screen play, little something to get Hunter Hobbs loose, and that was the second touchdown pass. So maybe a case of you got to finish tackles and make sure if you're going to pressure Johnson, you actually get to Johnson and bring him down. That would be helpful, but we'll see. Changes have to be made in the half by both teams. We'll see what South Fremont does and what Jackson does to respond. 14-0 at the half. We'll be back with more of the halftime show on the home of the Bronx, Jackson Hole Radio, and the SVI Sports Network.
Store, Jackson's oldest business and only true lumber yard in town. Jackson Lumber's hardware people are the best in the business, and they do it right the first time. Jackson Lumber works with people who make a living building, so the tools they sell are definitely the best hand tools and power tools available, with names like Vest Tool, Milwaukee, Makita, Skillsaw, Senco, Fine, and DeWalt. Jackson Lumber, the board store at 130 South Grovemont. Call 733-6000, 733-6000.
At High Country Linen's Paper and Cleaning Supply Outlet, we've got you covered. We have cleaning supplies for all your needs, like Bona hardwood floor cleaner, brooms and mops, dusters and buffers, Swiffers and brushes, scrubbers and squeegees for every job, Murphy oil, orange oil, and Pledge for your home or office, products from the Clean Environment Company, Envirox, and bathroom cleaners from the Natural House for the safe environmental solution. For dishwashers to laundry, Cascade and Jet Dry, Dawn and Joy, Tide, Arm & Hammer, Shout, Clorox, and Bounce. And get the window cleaning tools the pros use. Spray bottles, extended washers, buckets, and squeegees for the cleanest windows. Browse products at highcountrylinen.com or call 739-1311, 739-1311, or drop in at High Country Linen's Paper and Cleaning Supply Outlet, 335 North Glenwood Street, open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m., and don't forget, We deliver.
They say the best offense is a good defense. This theory applies on Wyoming roads and highways just as much as on the football field or the basketball court. Your game plan should always include wearing a seatbelt, and that goes for everyone in the vehicle. Check road conditions before you go. Call 511 or download the Y.511 app for road information at your fingertips. Finally, put away distractions, especially your phone, so you're better prepared for the unexpected. This message brought to you by YDOT.
Halftime here at St. Anthony, Idaho. Jackson Bronx trying to keep that two-game winning streak alive, but have dug themselves a bit of a hole here, down 2 scores, 14-0 at the half. South Fremont, meanwhile, playing in front of the hometown fans, trying to extend their winning streak to 5 games. They've started the season 4-0, and they've looked sharp tonight, but not unbeatable. I think with some adjustment, the Jackson Bronx certainly could get back into this game. Pretty good crowd on hand for the weather anyway, and a good visiting contingency from the O2. Jackson showing up. The Black Hole on the road consists mainly of parents, but a pretty good representation over here on the visiting sidelines. Jackson Bronx in a 3-way tie in the 3A behind Cody. Cody's undefeated at 2-0. Cody does not play a week 0 game. They traditionally just have a scrimmage contest. So Cody's played just 2 games, but they've looked very much like the team to beat. I don't think anybody is doubting that the Cody Bronx, certainly the team that everybody's chasing as the champs. I mean, 2-time champions. Not only do the varsity win every game, they went undefeated last year, even though Jackson gave them a scare in the regular season. But their JV team went undefeated. The freshman team went undefeated. You got to figure Cody is building a dynasty up there in Park County, and they have looked very impressive in their first 2 games. They're in first place, a 3-way tie with 2-1 records. And again, these are non-conference standings, so it doesn't mean anything. But Jackson is right there along with Star Valley and I believe Green River, all at 2-1. I don't have my notes in front of me. But we begin conference play next week, and what a way to begin. A rematch of Jackson-Cody, a rematch of the state championship game. Cody comes to town, Jackson hosting. That is going to be a huge football game. Bronx against the Bronx, September 23rd. That's next week. And, boy, I'll tell you, Cody's legit. I mean, they got to be 30-point favorites in that game, and I say that as a big-time Jackson Bronx fan, but Cody is that good on paper and on the field. After that, Jackson will stay at home, and they'll take on the Evanston Red Devils. Evanston more towards the bottom of the pack, and then it's on the road to Green River, Powell, and Star Valley to finish up the season. So Jackson, 3 road games to finish the season. So Jackson Bronx better learn how to win on the road, because that's the way they're going to wrap things up against Green River, Powell, and Star Valley, October 7, 14, and 21 before the playoffs begin. Jackson will be at home for 2 in a row, Cody and Evanston, next week and the following week. But meanwhile, here we are in St. Anthony, Idaho. Jackson down 14-0 at the half. Both teams have returned to the field, and we're just about ready to get this one started again for the second half. All the action tonight brought to you by our sponsors, as always. So proud of Jackson Lumber, Jackson's original board store. Town Square Inns of Jackson Hole, including the Antler Inn, Elk Country Inn, Cowboy Village Resort, and 49er Inn and Suites. Great Northern Coffee. Have you tried their Old World roasting style? It makes all the difference. And the Wyoming Department of Transportation, keeping our highways safe. For Jackson Hole Radio, I'm Jake Nichols, and we'll be right back with the start of the second half here in St. Anthony, Idaho. At the half, it's the Cougars 14, the Bronx nothing. We'll be right back with more action on the home of the Bronx, Jackson Hole Radio and the SVI Sports Network.
Experience Jackson Hole like a local. Recently renovated, the 49er boasts a new lobby, extended continental breakfast, indoor swimming pool, fitness facility, and 12-person outdoor hot tub. Located on Pearl Street, the 49er is just 3 short blocks from Jackson's greatest bars and restaurants, where you'll find your home away from home. Enjoy your time in Jackson as part of the Town Square Inns, and stay at the 49er Inn and Suites.
You're watching and listening to live coverage of Jackson Hole High School sports on KZ95.
We get back to the live action and just minutes away from kicking this off. Jackson received the first kick to the opening kick to start the game, so they'll be on the kicking end of things. The defense will be called upon to once again create a quick 3-and-out or perhaps a turnover and get that ball back into the hands of the offense. They can ill afford to allow South Fremont to tack on any more. 14-0 here at the half as the Cougars send out their kick return team. Jackson along the sidelines with their kick team just about ready to go. You may see Ted Dawson right there, the special teams coach, talking things over with his group. Braden Hills will put a foot to this in a moment. It's been a pretty clean game, not too many penalties and no turnovers. I think we had one fumble, but no turnover resulting, and we're ready to go. Hills sends out that kick unit. Back to deep to receive for South Fremont. 2 guys in unreadable numbers. I believe one of them is that wide receiver, Skylar Forbush, on the near side of your screen, I think. It's hard to read those numbers. Braden Hills ready to boot it and get this thing going. He's got a good leg, of course. He's on the soccer team, plays fullback on the defense side of things. He's got a real good leg. This kick high, hanging up there, and receiving is Hunter Hobbs at his own 25. Squirts across the 30 to the 40, out to midfield. One guy to get him is the kicker, and they finally do bring him down. Hunter Hobbs with a huge return inside the Jackson 40 to give South Fremont their best field position of the night, and a little breakdown of the kick coverage team there as Hunter Hobbs with a huge return for the South Fremont Cougars, and Bryce Johnson will bring his unit up, the big left-handed junior quarterback, in the huddle, and out they come. Stoddard split wide left. Forbush split wide to the right. In the backfield along with Johnson is Hobbs, who just made that long return. Man in motion is Stoddard. There's the snap. Fake to Hobbs, looking to throw. Nobody open. Flushed out of the pocket. Fires, and it's incomplete. And a good job there. Good pressure by Justin Castino. You may have heard one of the Jackson fans saying, "Don't help him up," referring Castino did indeed help Johnson off his feet. It was Castino applying the pressure. Johnson scrambling and just firing a pass that was intended for nobody, really. I think he just wanted the ball out of his hands. So 2nd and 10 now. Just underway here in the second half. 14-0 South Fremont. As the Cougars line them up. 2 receivers split wide right, 1 to the left. Ball in the near hash. Johnson in the shotgun with Hobbs in the backfield with him. The snap, they gave the Hobbs. No, Johnson's going to call it himself over right tackle. He's got plenty of room. Dragged down, and he's got a first down. Pickup of 10. In on the stop, it looked like Aiden Grayland, but not before Johnson just carried tacklers to the first down stick. And they may say he's short here. They will. They're going to mark him down a little bit short. His knee must have been down, so it'll bring up 3rd and 1, I believe. And now, no, they're going to say first down. I thought so. Sideline chain gang has got to get in the game, man. 1st and 10. South Fremont ball at the Jackson 28-yard line. Bryce Johnson barks out the sniggle, the snap, and the give to Hunter Hobbs. No, he's going to call his own number again. Good fake off the left side. And again, lots of running room. Finally brought down to the Jackson 22, or the Jackson 12, and a big gain by Bryce Johnson. And he's a load, 6'2", 210. Not easy to bring down. And Johnson with a huge pickup and another first down for South Fremont. And is there a flag on the play? There is. Sorry. So a holding on the Cougars. Going to erase that Johnson run. And that's fortunate for the Jackson Bronx. Ball at the Jackson 24-yard line. And they'll replay the down. First down and 5 for South Fremont. So they must have, I'm not sure how that factors. 1st and 5 for the Cougars. 2 receivers left. 1 to the right. Hunter Hobbs on the backfield with Johnson, who's in the shotgun. Snap to Johnson. He will give to Hobbs up the middle. Hunter Hobbs hit immediately, but a pickup of about 3. In on the tackle for Jackson again was Justin Castino. Ball at the Jackson 21. And short of the first down. They've got to get to, it looks like the 18-yard line. So 2nd and about 3 here for South Fremont. 10:40 to go in the 3rd. Cougars up 14-0 over Jackson. This time up under center is Bryce Johnson. Again with Hunter Hobbs, the lone back in the backfield. 1 receiver split left, 1 right. Twin look, twin tight ends. In motion is Stoddard. And looking to throw. Firing, a ball knocked out of the air. Andrew Hanna. Nice designed rollout there by Johnson. He was looking for Forbush on the far side, but Andrew Hanna, all 6'6" of him, got a big paw up in the air and knocked that one down. So 3rd and 2 now, and the Bronx trying to stiffen here. We'll see if South Fremont just goes straight ahead with their big quarterback. He's in the shotgun. Hunter Hobbs in the backfield. 1 receiver left, 1 right. Twin tight end package. The snap to Johnson, gives to Hobbs. No, he's going to take it himself, and that fooled everybody. He'll waltz into the end zone. It looked like we might have had a clip there, but no flags, and Johnson's in. The Jackson Bronx certainly bought that fake. It looked like Hobbs was taking the carry inside, and nobody was on the outside except for, I believe, Jack Johnson. Whoever it was, it looked like they received a bit of a block in the back, but no call, and Johnson rumbles in for the touchdown. And Bryce Johnson has simply done everything tonight for South Fremont. 2 touchdown passes. Now he's run for another. And here comes the PAT down at the far end of the field. Snaps good, holds up, and the kick is short, is low, no good. So it's 20-0 with 10:10 to go in the 3rd. We'll keep it here. South Fremont, their opening possession to start the 3rd quarter, march down the field and extend their lead now to 20-0 over the Jackson Bronx. And if Jackson has an answer, they better come up with it quick. They can ill afford to let this game get out of hand. Still plenty of time to go here. 10:10 to go in the 3rd. But Jackson's got to start hitting plays downfield. And they've got to come up with an answer for this quarterback, Bryce Johnson, the junior, who has had a big game for South Fremont. He's thrown for 2 touchdowns, run for the 3rd. And he's starting to have his way with his Jackson defense. That play well designed, that touchdown run. Hunter Hobbs, the fake to him, and everybody on the Jackson defense got sucked into the middle. Bryce Johnson simply waltzed around the left end. There was nobody there. Here comes the kickoff. Back to receive again. It's Witt and Brunner. Brunner is the near back. Witt on the far hash, both standing at about their 15-yard line. And here comes the kick for South Fremont. Kick is well short. It's going to go to an up back. And a big hit there out to about the 39-yard line. First and 10 for the Jackson Bronx. I'm not sure who that was on Jackson who received the kick, but Jackson starts in good field position. They've had good field position all night, but just have not been able to capitalize. Ball at their own 40 of the far hash. And this is going to be a big drive here for the Bronx. A statement maker if they can get back into this. Witt here on the near side is split wide right. Inside of him is Brunner. Man in motion is Brunner. The snap and the give to Jack Jenkins along left tackle. He's got about 3, maybe 4. Actually pushes the pile. Good run there by Jenkins. So Jackson not in a hurry to get it all at once. A good carry by Jenkins. That'll be a pickup of 5, 2nd and 5 as Jenkins checks out. Clock counting at 9:37 and rolling. Jackson down 20-0. Again, Witt here on the right side. Sebastian Brunner in the slot next to him. Owen Jansen with a shotgun snap. Hands the ball off, inside handoff, and I believe that's Thomas May who got about 3. That is May. He's going to be short of the first down, but pickup of about 3. It'll be 3rd and a makeable 2 here with the ball at the Jackson 48-yard line right there on the logo of South Fremont. The Cougars simply go by the name South. If you refer to this school, they're just the South. Xander Witt split wide right, 2 receivers to the left. Owen Jansen in the shotgun, the snap. And the give is to Thomas May, left side, flags fly. He's short of the first down. And we'll see, flags came from the Jackson backfield, likely a holding call here. We'll see what it is. Bronx were short of the first down anyway, and it will be on Jackson. So instead of 4th down, we'll stay at 3rd down. It'll be 3rd and long here. 3rd and about 12, it looks like, as they march off 10 yards against the Bronx. 3rd and 12 for Jackson. 8:42 to go in the 3rd. And the Bronx are going the wrong way. And they break the huddle. Owen Jansen in the shotgun snap. And again, it's May in the backfield with him. 2 receivers to the right, 1 to the left. Jansen looks to throw, wants to come near side, fires incomplete. He was looking for Brunner off his hands, trying that quick hit slant. But again, South Fremont, they've been watching film or something. They've been covering those out. They're playing bump and run. They're playing very much uptight on the Jackson receivers. They're not allowing the pass on the flat, and they're not allowing the quick slant that Jackson has made hay with so far this season. They're simply too close to coverage, and that quick hitter to the outside has not been there all night for Jackson. 4th and 13. The Bronx will have to punt. Braden Hill's on to do the kicking duty. Punt is a short and high, and it'll bounce at the South Fremont 36-yard line where Jackson will down it there. So the Cougars take over at their own 36-yard line, leading already 20-0. 8:09 to go in the 3rd. And we'll stay right here. So that big possession Jackson needed to answer and could not, as yet another offensive drive stalls, and it just does not look like the same Bronx team that put up 55 on Wood River. And give credit to South Fremont. Their defense has been better than the Wolverines last week were. But Jackson has also not helped themselves out at all. Here's Bryce Johnson for South Fremont. The snap, fake handoff, wants to throw. The RPO wide open is Stoddard's. Almost slips the tackle from Witt, but Xander does drag him down, but he's into Jackson territory and more than enough for a first down. Pickup of 15 on the play to the Jackson 46-yard line. And the busted coverage there as Stoddard was wide open. I'm not sure where Witt lost track of him or what. But Johnson to Stoddard. Bryce Johnson has looked very good for South Fremont. 7:40 in counting in the third. 1st and 10 for the Cougars. Johnson brings them up at the Jackson 46-yard line. In shotgun, it's Hadley Hill in the backfield with him. Man in motion is Stoddard. The snap, and the give is to Hill. Met immediately, but he slips a tackle. Hadley Hill, not easy to bring down. Finally, it looks like Aiden Graylin on the far side will drag him down, or perhaps that was Jack Jenkins. But another chance in the backfield right away, but the tackle missed, and Hadley Hill just too big for these Jackson Broncs. He's listed at 170 pounds, but boy, he runs bigger than that. As the South Fremont fullback has just run over Bronc players. Another first down for the Cougars at the Jackson 31-yard line. Bryce Johnson the snap. They give this to Hill again, and again he finds a good 5 yards over the left tackle. And that big offensive line for South Fremont starting to push the Broncs around a little bit. That was a chunk yardage there. Give him 6 on the play. It'll be 2nd and 4 for South Fremont. Again, Hadley Hill alternating with Hunter Hobbs in the backfield. They both seem to run the entire possession. It's still Hill out there. There's the fake to Hill, and keeping the ball is Bryce Johnson. He's got more room along the left side. Slips a couple of tackles in the end zone for a touchdown, but flags are down. Let's wait. That looked very much like the touchdown run by Johnson just a series ago as he faked to Hadley Hill, and too many Jackson Broncs defenders bought the fake, and too many missed tackles on Bryce Johnson, who just plowed his way through a few arm tackles. This will be on South Fremont, I believe. It's coming back. And it's holding on the Cougars, so erase the touchdown and march South Fremont back. The ball placed to the Jackson 30-yard line. It'll bring up 2nd and long for the Cougars. 6:12 to go in the third. South Fremont up 3 scores, 20-0. Jackson defense starting to wear down a little bit under the bigger South team. Stoddard split wide left screen near the bottom of your screen. Another receiver far right side. Now Stoddard in motion. The snap to Johnson. The lefty is back to throw. Has time. Firing right side. Got Stoddard complete. Down to the Jackson 11-yard line. It'll be good enough for a first down. And once again, the Johnson-Stoddard connection. You hear the hometown announcer, PA announcer, saying Johnson firing on all cylinders. He certainly is. It was Johnson to Stoddard that was accounted for South Fremont's first score earlier in the game. And Stoddard way too open on that play. 1st and 10, ball just outside the Jackson 10. It's possible to pick up a first down without scoring the touchdown. Hadley Hill in the backfield along with Bryce Johnson in the shotgun. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. Snap, Johnson gives to Hadley Hill. Barron right up the middle and plows his way in for a touchdown. Huge hole was opened up there. And by the time Jackson defenders got to Hill, he had a head of steam, and he was not going to be stopped. Hill into the end zone for the touchdown, and it's 26-0 now. We'll see if South Fremont goes for 2. The field goal kicking team has not looked very good, but they'll give them another crack. They're going to try the PAT here, just the one. And doing the kicking is Daniel Alvarez. And this time he hits it
Extra point is
So the extra point good, and that gives South Fremont a 27-0 lead over the Jackson Bronx with 5:34 to go in the third. It's been all Cougars here on their home field. And we'll be back with a change of possession of the kickoff. You're enjoying Bronx football on Jackson Hole Radio and the SVI Sports Network.
Great Northern Coffee. Jackson's own coffee roaster has been roasting and blending a wide selection of coffee since 1979. A warm fire, friendly faces, and a cup of Great Northern Coffee. Just the thing to kick off our Bronx and Cowboy teams. Try our Bronx Blend, a heavy, rich cup of coffee that will run you over like the Bronx football team. Great Northern Coffee, available at grocery stores and coffee shops around the state. Also available online at greatnortherncoffee.com.
Let's get back to the live action on KZ95. Here's Jake Nichols.
Ready for the kickoff here, and it's going to go down to Xander Witt, scrambling to chase it down. Finally picks it up at his own 5, trying to pick up blockers. Can't find any blockers, but finds plenty of red jerseys as he's buried under a pile of Cougars at his own 18-yard line, where Jackson will take over 1st and 10. That kick kind of got away from everybody, and Xander Witt had to go track it down. Turned around and tried to identify some kind of blocking, but the whole timing of the kick return team was way off by that time. They're going to spot it at the Jackson 16. So the Bronx got a long way to go to get back in this one. 27-0 the score, and they'll start this deep in their own territory. Thomas May again in the backfield. I don't know if Jack Jenkins has an issue with it. Does look like May in the backfield. Snap to Seb Brunner. Seb rolling to his left, looking to throw, but he's hounded by pressure. Tries to throw and now loses the football. Are they going to call that an incomplete pass or a fumble? I believe that's a fumble by Seb Brunner. And that is a costly one deep in their own territory. Brunner was being hounded, chased by pressure, and he tried to throw the ball, but that was ill-advised. He had somebody right behind him who knocked the ball out of his hands when he attempted that pass. And that is a fumble. South Fremont will take over at the Jackson 5-yard line, I believe. Maybe the 6 or 7. But knocking on the door, 1st and 10 for South Fremont, and a deadly mistake for the Jackson Bronx. The first turnover of the game, and it couldn't be costlier. South comes up. Bryce Johnson with Hunter Hobbs in the backfield this time as they alternate between Hobbs and Hill. And the give is to Hobbs. Looking left side, now cuts back up right side. Picks up about 4, but flags everywhere, and we'll see what that is. As Hobbs was trying to find room to run, he was first looking over the left guard, didn't like what he saw, switched to the right side of the center and did find 4, but that's going to go against South Fremont. They'll march it back. So 1st and goal at the 6 has now become 1st and goal at the 16-yard line for South Fremont. Time ticking away here in the third, 5 minutes and counting. With South up 27-0. Bryce Johnson up under center. Now 2 men in the backfield. It's Hill and Hobbs. 1 receiver to the left, 1 to the right. The snap and the give. No, play action pass. Looking to throw. Firing downfield. Got a man. Complete. Just short of the goal line at about the 2-yard line. That's Johnson hitting Hadley Hill out of the backfield. Hill's first reception. That was a I was about to say that. That was a BB from Bryce Johnson. Boy, you could hang your laundry on that line. That was a bullet. Hill either had to catch it or let it put a hole in his chest. And that puts South down at the 2-yard line. 2nd and goal from the 2 as the Cougars knock it on the door. Bryce Johnson in the shotgun, got Hunter Hobbs just behind him. The give is to Hobbs. Right tackle Andrew Hanna first to meet him. And they will be just short of the goal line. Good job by Hanna to close in from his left defensive end position and kind of shut that hole down. And Hobbs picked up maybe one. It'll still be 3rd and goal
3 yards to go.
from about the 2-yard line. 4:18 and counting. Jackson trying to put together a goal line stand here as Johnson has Hobbs in the backfield with him. 2 receivers to the right, 1 left. Man in motion, and the snap's a bad one. Snap gets away from everybody. Jackson Bronx recover. And I'm not sure what happened there. That was a bad snap over the head of everyone, and Jackson Bronx get a break. A huge break. The recovery made, and the ball all the way out to the Jackson 32-yard line. That snap simply went over the head of everyone. Johnson wasn't even ready for it, and the snap was airmailed all the way out to about the 20-yard line, and it kept bouncing. And nothing but Bronx in pursuit. I didn't see who recovered it, but Jackson gets a gift there. They deny South Fremont the touchdown, and in fact now come out with their offense. And it is Jack Jenkins in the backfield along with Jansen. Twins right, twins left. Hanna and Witt to the near side. Can't see who that is on the far side. Snap to Jansen. He wants to throw. Has time. Now he's going to tuck it and run. Left side. Got a ton of room to operate. He's across the 40 to about the 43 where he's finally stacked up. A good run there. Should be enough for a first down. It'll be close. And yes, they'll move the sticks. First down on the Jansen run. He just couldn't find anybody downfield. Jansen couldn't. Decided to run. It was pretty good protection for him. He just thought, he had that clock going off in his head. He thought, I've been in the backfield too long. I can't find anybody open. I'm going. Here's Jansen again. 1st and 10. Jackson wants to throw. Left side, far side. Double coverage. And the pass incomplete. That was an ill-advised pass to I believe, Sebastian Brunner. Hunter Hobbs broke it up, and Brunner is slow to get up. Second time today that Brunner has stayed on the ground after contact. And I don't know what Jansen thought he saw, but that was very good coverage, double coverage on Sebastian Brunner. That play wasn't going anywhere, even if Brunner caught it. And Sebastian's up and looks fine as he trots off the field. Coach White having a few words with him. He looks okay, as you could see him making his way to the sidelines. So it'll bring up 2nd and 10 for Jackson. 3:33 to go and counting. Jansen coming over to get the play here on the sidelines as an injury timeout will give Jackson a little extra time to make a call here. And the referee's signaling they're flagged down. They're going to call unsportsmanlike conduct on South Fremont. So that hit on Sebastian Brunner, whatever it was, and I did not see it, is costly. They're going to penalize South Fremont on the hit. That'll give Jackson the ball at the Cougar 41. They're calling it a helmet-to-helmet hit. And again, Seb looks okay. He's on the sidelines. And nobody's really looking at him. He's taking a drink of water. He looks fine. Thomas May is also over here. Sorry, that's not May. It is May. He was also over on the sidelines. And here comes Jackson, 1st and 10. Ball in Fremont territory. And it's Owen Jansen with a keeper running left side. He's got plenty of room, puts his head down, plows for a pickup of about 14 on the play, and another first down for Jackson as they're starting to move the sticks here. Trying to get back into this, but maybe too little too late. Clock showing 3:20 and counting in the third. Jackson down 27-0, but on the move at the South Fremont 29-yard line. Twins right and left for Jackson. Jenkins in the backfield now steps up and joins Jansen at his right hip. Snap. Jansen wants to throw. Has time. Steps up in the pocket. Now it starts to break down. Jansen scrambling, and he's going to be sacked at the 30-yard line. Loss of 1. Jansen just didn't see anybody open, and the pressure finally got to him. It's a little bit different when you're asking Owen Jansen, rather to make those quick hits to the outside, to actually look downfield and try to identify an open receiver. He's got to make 4 reads. There's 4 receivers in the pattern. This simply is too overwhelming for a first-year quarterback. Even though he's a senior, it's just too much to look at. And Jansen felt the pocket disintegrating and took the sack. 2nd and 11 for the Bronx. Snap to Jansen, wants to throw, looking over the middle, wants Brunner, got him, pass complete. Sebastian Brunner down to the 21-yard line, very near a first down. I think he's got it. And that's that slant pattern this time, and this time Sebastian Brunner able to hang on. Brunner now lines up far side, left side, to the left of the slot receiver, Braden Hills on the far side. Now movement offsides by South Fremont, and a good hard count draws another penalty. And again, Owen Jackson comes to the sidelines favoring that left elbow. And with a penalty, Jackson with another first down. That's going to give him the first down. They were just short, and with that 5-yard penalty, now they have the first down with the ball at the 16-yard line of South Fremont. Jackson trying to get in the end zone for their first score of the night if they can. Jansen comes out to the huddle from the sidelines with the play. Clock counting. 1:25. Want to see a little more urgency here from the visiting team if they're going to get back in this. Jansen to the shotgun. Snap, wants to throw. Looking far side. Slant pass again. Sebastian Brunner. Touchdown. Jackson, I believe, is he in? No. Just short. Just short, but a nice play. Jansen to Brunner, and that works again. It's enough for a first down. They put the sticks down. It'll be 1st and goal from inside the 5. It looks like they're at the 4. 1st and goal, Jackson. Jansen in the shotgun. Trips right, looking right. No, he's going to keep it and run, and he's hit from behind and dragged down. Pickup of maybe 2, and gets a little bit closer. It'll bring up 2nd and goal from about the 1, and they're going to mark it at the 2-yard line. 2nd and goal from the 2 for Jackson. Jackson up, no huddle, trips left. Jansen, bad snap. He's got to go back and track it down all the way back to the 11-yard line. And just what happened to South Fremont happened to Jackson. A bad snap, an errant snap, and by the time Jansen jumped on it, it's a huge loss all the way back to the Bronx, all the way back to South Fremont's 10-yard line. So you're looking at 3rd and goal from the 10. Meanwhile, clock at 10 seconds and counting here in the 3rd. Will Jackson get this play off? They're going to have to hurry. Jansen has no idea about the clock, I don't think. Here's the snap. They do get it off. Jansen looking left side. Wants Brunner on the slant. And there it is. Touchdown. Jackson Bronx. Owen Jansen to Sebastian Brunner on the slant play. And the Bronx are in the end zone for the first time tonight. Good job. And Jackson has gone to that play quite a few times now tonight. That slant pass to Sebastian Brunner, who lines up wide on the outside. Here comes the PAT from Braden Hills with Owen Jansen doing the holding. The snap good, the hold good, and the kick is rocketed through. It's good. So Jackson finally gets on the board, and we may have a ball game here. Don't go anywhere. We'll be back with more as the score, South Fremont 27, Jackson 7. You're enjoying Jackson football on Jackson Hole Radio and the SVI Sports Network.
Experience Jackson Hole like a local. Recently renovated, the 49er boasts a new lobby, extended continental breakfast, indoor swimming pool, fitness facility, and 12-person outdoor hot tub. Located on Pearl Street, the 49er is just 3 short blocks from Jackson's greatest bars and restaurants, where you'll find your home away from home. Enjoy your time in Jackson as part of the Town Square Inns and stay at the 49er Inn and Suites.
Let's get back to the live action on KZ95. Here's Jake Nichols.
Well, we'll see if Coach White wants to dial up an onside kick here, as the clock has run out in the third. And they're waiting for it to get reset. I believe we're officially in the fourth quarter now. And yes, we are. So Jackson has just 12 minutes to score quite a bunch more. They're down 3 scores, 27-7. Braden Hills has it teed up, and it doesn't look like South Fremont is worried about an onside kick. They have the normal return team out. Hills puts a boot to it, and he rockets this one right through the end zone. And South Fremont will start it at their own 20. And boy, one thing Hills can do is kick. I remember last year in the state championship game, Brody Hills came on and kicked a huge pressure field goal for Jackson early in that game to give the Bronx an early lead in the state title game in Laramie. And Braden Hills showed ice in his veins. He said, no problem, I got this. Goalposts are the same size everywhere, and he nailed it. And he has got a leg. Here comes South Fremont, Bryce Johnson of the gun. And fake handoff, he's going to keep it himself. Not much there. He was met immediately, but slipped the tackle of Lucas Grayland, who couldn't quite wrap him up. But Grayland penetrated in the backfield, and that threw the timing of the playoff. Johnson got maybe a yard, and they'll say, no, not even that. Greibel did the cleanup there, and it was Grayland with the initial contact, and Bryce Johnson had no room to run. 2nd and 10 now for South Fremont at their own 20-yard line. 2 receivers split wide right. 1 runner in the backfield along with Johnson. Man in motion is Stoddard, and the give is a fly sweep. No, it's not. Hannah's not fooled, and a big sack. A big sack by Lucas Grayland. Andrew Hanna and Lucas Grayland did not buy the fly sweep fake. They knew Bryce Johnson had the football, and they closed in on him. Hanna forced Johnson into the arms of Lucas Grayland, who pounded Johnson down to the turf. It's now 3rd and 16 for South Fremont. And a big sack there by the outside linebacker, Lucas Grayland. South Fremont's got to be careful here. A turnover deep in their own end would be costly. Johnson brings him up in the gun. 2 receivers left, 1 to the right. The snap, Johnson wants to throw. Heavy pressure, and he fires that screen to Hunter Hobbs. That's what scored the touchdown earlier in the game. Rather than Stoddard, he's forced out of bounds short of the stick by Aiden Grayland. It'll bring up 4th and short, and you would think the punting team is on here. That's that same play that South Fremont scored its 2nd touchdown on. They simply let the pass rush come and threw a little screen in underneath. And that was to Preston Stoddard, who almost got the first down. He's going to be just short. And the Cougars are going to go here, I think. No, they're going to punt. Johnson back to punt. Back to receive is Seb Brunner at his own 44-yard line. The punt, the snap bobbled momentarily. Now Johnson gets it off. It takes a Jackson bounce and is down at the 48-yard line, where the Bronx will start. And all the momentum seems to be swinging to the side of the black and orange as Coach White groups them up on the sidelines. Jackson's got little time to work with here in the 4th quarter. They're down by 20, but showing signs of life late. The defense has caused the 3 and out. You got that. And now it's the offense turn with a short field. Ball at their own 48-yard line, and here come the Bronx. In the backfield, Justin Castino is the fullback along with Jenkins. The give is to Jenkins, right side, following the block of Castino. Not a lot there, but Jenkins does move the pile to midfield. Ball at the 50, pickup of 2, that's all. And a costly 2 yards when you look at the scoreboard time, as time ticking away. 2nd and 8 for the Bronx. Ball right there at midfield on the South Fremont logo. Here's Owen Jansen with a snap. Fake handoff, wants to throw, fires right side, got a man. That's Justin Castano. He's tackled immediately. Pickup of 4, but that's all. It'll be well short of the first down. As a well-designed play to give Jansen an option of getting the ball out of his hands quickly. And a good job by Justin Castano, who is playing kind of the fullback there, makes the catch. It'll still bring up a 3rd and 4, though, for Jackson. We'll see what the Bronx do. With the ball at the South Fremont 46-yard line. Jansen in the shotgun. Snap, wants to throw. Pressure. Now his helmet is ripped off, and he is sacked. Flags fly, though, and that might be a call about the helmet. That could be face mask, I believe, is what the call is going to be. It's going to be on South Fremont as Jansen had his helmet ripped right off. That will be face mask on South Fremont, and that's an automatic 15-yarder in high school football, I believe. Clock stopped at 8:59, and we'll see where they march it off. Jansen's okay. Although he does come to the sidelines, it looks like Sebastian Brunner is going to come in as quarterback and run a play here. Trying to adjust my camera to get a better zoom in. Maybe I better just leave it alone. Here come the Bronx now. Yeah, the ball is marched 15 yards down to the 31-yard line of South Fremont. So costly penalty there. Here's Sebastian Brunner with the play action run, running the option, calls his own number. He's across inside the 30 to about the 28-yard line of Fremont. Pickup of 2 or 3. It'll bring up 2nd down and 7. Jackson trying to hurry it up here. They will huddle, but you can sense a little more urgency in the play calling as here come the Bronx. This time, Owen Jansen back in as the signal caller. He has 2 receivers split right to the left, and Jenkins in the backfield with him at the right hip. Shotgun snap to Jansen, wants to throw, near side, looking for Brunner, who comes back for the ball and makes the catch at the 9-yard line of South Fremont. That ball was underthrown. I don't know if it was intentional or not, but it was underthrown. Skylar Forbush in the coverage, but Brunner simply came back to the ball, and Forbush never saw the underthrown ball. Pass to the right side now, and that doesn't work. It's smelled out immediately by Forbush. Xander Witt tackled right away in the right flat, and that gained nothing. It'll be 2nd and goal from 2nd and 10 from about the 12-yard line. I don't know why the sideline guys put their sticks down. It's 2nd down. It's 2nd and goal from the 12. So I guess they do have to get a touchdown to get the first down. Owen Jansen in the shotgun. The snap, Jansen looking near side, fires, caught, into the end zone, touchdown. Owen Jansen finds Braden Hills for the touchdown. And Braden Hills proves that he can do more than just kick. As he takes that one in, Jackson's going to go for 2 here. No, Hills will come out with the tee, and they'll try to kick it. Braden Hills playing the slot receiver there, and that was that slant pass that has gone to Sebastian Brunner. That kick is good, by the way. And Jackson has closed the gap a little more. It's now 27-14. Don't go anywhere. We're about a turnover away from a real football game. You're enjoying Bronx football on Jackson Hole Radio and the SVI Sports Network.
All around the Cowboy State, schools are back in session, and YDOT would like to remind drivers to do their part to make the roads safer. Know where your school zones are in your area and slow down whenever you're nearby. Don't be distracted while driving. This includes talking on the phone and texting. Watch for buses, vans, and cars that are loading or unloading children, and never pass a school bus that has its stop sign arm extended and red lights flashing. Let's work together to make this school year a safe one. This message paid for by YDOT.
Live play-by-play coverage of Jackson Bronx sports continues with Jake Nichols on KZ95.
Back to the live action, back to St. Anthony, Idaho, here at South Fremont High School as Braden Hills has the ball teed up. A Owen Jansen to Braden Hills 12-yard touchdown pass has drawn Jackson to within 2 scores. Hills will boot it away and again gets a hold of one pretty good. The return coming from the 5-yard line out across the 20 to the 22. And the Jackson return team stacks up the carrier there at the 22-yard line where South Fremont will take over. Well, the Cougars starting to feel a little heat now as Jackson trying to get back in this ballgame. 7:26 to play in regulation and a 27-14 South Fremont lead. Here comes the Cougar offense. 2 receivers to the near side, right side, 1 to the left. It's Hills in the backfield along with Johnson. Hayden Hills gets the carry across left tackle, out across the 25. And that's probably where they'll mark it, 25-yard line. Pickup of 5. It'll be 2nd down and 5. That was Hunter Hobbs, sorry, not Hayden Hills. Hobbs with a carry. 2nd and 5 for South Fremont. Clock ticking just over 7 ago now. Clock the enemy of the Bronx. They need a turnover here. 3 and out or a flat-out turnover. We'll see if they dial up the heat. Johnson with just 1 man in the backfield with him. 1 receiver right, 1 to the left. A handoff? No. Johnson will call his own number. He's across the 30, 1st down. And again, that play's been pretty good. That fake inside to Hobbs and Johnson keeping outside the tackle. That play has fooled Jackson badly in this game. This time, not as much, but it's good enough for 5. I mean, Johnson, a big kid at 6'2", 6'3", rather, simply has to fall forward. He gains 2 extra yards there. So a fresh set of downs for the Cougars. Johnson comes up under center now with Hobbs in the backfield. 2 receivers, 1 to the right, 1 to the left. Straight ahead they go. I guess that was not a 1st down. So that's Johnson with a quarterback keeper, and he will have the 1st down now. That was 3rd and short. And Bryce Johnson has the 1st down with a quarterback keeper. Ball out to the 33-yard line of South Fremont. Jackson trying to come up with a big stand here. They need something quick, a turnover or something. Certainly no more South Fremont points. Can't afford it. 27-14. 5:52 to go in the 4th quarter. Johnson up under center. 2 runners in the backfield. It's Hills and Hobbs. The snap, and they're not going to give to anybody. They're looking to throw. Running left side under duress. Pass complete. Downfield, and that's enough for a 1st down. Flags fly, and that's probably going to be on the Bronx. As the ball out to midfield, I did not see who made the reception, but that's a gutsy call there by head coach Chad Hill of the South Fremont Cougars, up by 2 scores and a running game that seems to be working well. And he goes with a RPO there. He goes with a play action pass, and why not trust Johnson's arm? He's looked really good, that quarterback, the lefty, and he threw a laser there for enough for a 1st down. I didn't see what the call was, but it's going to tack on extra yardage. It's on Jackson. The ball all the way down to the Bronx 33-yard line. 1st and 10 for South Fremont. Johnson with Hobbs in the backfield with him. The snap and the give is to Hobbs, and there's nothing there. Jackson stacks it up. No gain. It'll be 2nd and 10. Very little running room, and a good job by the Jackson defensive front.
Number 74, Tristan Sasser for the Bronx down the tackle.
On the tackle for the Jackson Bronx, Tristan Sasser, 5'11", 260-pound senior, trying to plug up the middle there and did a good job. It's 2nd and 10 for South Fremont. Johnson to the shotgun. Gets the snap and the fake handoff. He's going to again keep it himself. And he gets by everybody, and Johnson's going all the way. Touchdown on the left side. Missed tackles by Sebastian Brunner. And somebody else back there, I think, might have been Witt, but they just cannot wrap up that big quarterback. And Johnson makes his way to the end zone with a play that has been pretty successful for the Cougars tonight. That run option as Johnson faked the handoff inside, called his own number out the left side, and broke 2 tackles, 2 kind of weak arm tackles that wasn't going to stop Bryce Johnson. The extra point is up and good. And South Fremont, boy, if you want to know what they were made of, they certainly have an answer, as the Cougars score a touchdown to make it 34-14 with a kickoff coming. We'll be back. 4:30 to play. Jackson down 34-14 to the South Fremont Cougars. You're enjoying Jackson football on Jackson Hole Radio and the SVI Sports Network.
Experience Jackson Hole like a local. Recently renovated, the 49er boasts a new lobby, extended continental breakfast, indoor swimming pool, fitness facility, and 12-person outdoor hot tub. Located on Pearl Street, the 49er is just 3 short blocks from Jackson's greatest bars and restaurants, where you'll find your home away from home. Enjoy your time in Jackson as part of the Town Square Inns, and stay at the 49er Inn and Suites.
This is KZ95 with live coverage of the Jackson Bronx.
You're enjoying Jackson Bronx coverage on the radio at 95.3 KZ95 on your radio back in the Jackson area. Also, audio only on KZ95.live, and then we're live streaming also on our YouTube channel, Jackson Hole Radio. Here comes the kickoff for South Fremont. It's short. It'll be taken at the 30-yard line by the up-back, trying to get a number there. And that's Thomas May, who struggles for all he's worth to get the ball across the 35 to perhaps the 36, where Jackson will take over 1st and 10. The Bronx got down 14-0 at the half and have shown some life here in the second half, but and they have not been able to get back into it with their offense. And South Fremont, their offense just too good, and too much of Bryce Johnson at quarterback. Here's Owen Jansen. Jenkins in the backfield with him at his left hip. Jansen wants to throw. Flushed up inside, steps up in the pocket. Now going to take it himself. Carries it across the 40 to the 41-yard line. A pickup of 5 on the play. It'll bring up 2nd and 5. Injury to one of the South Fremont players now, and a timeout with 4:09 to go in the 4th. That'll help Jackson. The injury timeout will. Jansen again pressured. Jackson's done a pretty good job of giving Owen Jansen some time to work. Jansen just has not been able to identify open receivers downfield. And the injured player is up and moving, and looks like Jose Morion, the 5'8", 215-pound guard. Morion, a sophomore, looks like the Cougars starting to play some of the underclassmen perhaps with a 20-point lead, 34-14. And we're back to the action as Jackson huddled along the sidelines. Coach White calling the play, and we're ready to go. Out come the Bronx. Sander Witt, far side wide receiver. Inside of him is Braden Hills, who caught that touchdown pass moments ago. And trips right. One receiver here on the left side. Jansen out of the backfield finds Jenkins. He's got a couple, but short of the first down. Pickup of maybe 3. It'll bring up 3rd and a makeable 2 with clock ticking under 4 minutes now. Ball at the Jackson 44-yard line. Sebastian Brunner, the receiver here on the near side, split far left. 2 receivers to the right. Jenkins in the backfield with Jansen. Gets the snap, wants to throw. Drops back, looking, has time. Pump fake, now rolling to his right. looking for a man, has one, incomplete. In and out of the arms of Thomas May, who should have made that catch, and he knows it. That would have been a first down at the 40 of South Fremont, but May just could not come up with a catch. There's been a couple of drops from Jansen. Early in the game, he had Xander Witt with a couple that would have been big gainers, if not touchdowns, and Thomas May lets one get through his arms right there. So 4th and 2, and the Broncs are going with the ball at their own 44. Big play here as Jansen has 2 receivers to the right, 2 left. Jenkins in the backfield. Snap. Jansen wants to throw. Has time. Fires that slant pass. That's Sebastian Brunner. First down. And that has worked all night for Jackson. It works again there. Ball across midfield to the South Fremont 44-yard line. And a fresh set of downs for the Broncs. They'll go trips left, 1 receiver to the right. Snap to Jansen, wants to throw. Pressured, flush from the pocket, rolling right side, trying to find a man down the far sidelines. It's Xander Witt. Witt's going to go. Touchdown, Jackson. Oh, my. Xander Witt got loose in a 44-yard touchdown pass. Jansen to Witt. And the Broncs intend on making this interesting anyway. And what are they doing here? I didn't see any flag. There might be one on the far side as the referees have huddled and they're talking about something. Are they going to take this away from Witt? Good job by Jansen to extend the play, rolling to his right, and Xander Witt knew what to do. He said, I'm just going to take it to the house. He went deep. Jansen saw him and hit him. And Witt got a nice block downfield, and it might have been that block that the referees threw a flag at. We'll see what they're going to say here. I have no idea.
Touchdown will be called back.
No, boy, no touchdown. And, boy, the Jackson coach is on the sidelines very upset. Coach White is well out onto the field talking to the ref. You can see him. Coach Ted Dawson, not very happy either. And I don't know what the call was. We're still waiting on that, but they're going to put the ball at the 30-yard line of South Fremont, whatever it was. And it, with 3:10 to go, and I don't know what that call is. If you saw the referee make the motion, I'm not familiar. I think it was an illegal receiver downfield, perhaps. Although I don't think that's... Got to brush up on my hand signals there. I'm not sure the call, but they're taking the touchdown off the board. That's the gist of it. Placing the ball at the 30-yard line, and nobody on the near sidelines here for the Broncs is happy with that one. And Xander Witt erased a 44-yard touchdown pass to Witt. That's too bad. 1st and 10, Jackson. And they'll try it again. Got Braden Hills here in the slot near side. Sebastian Brunner outside of him, near side, bottom of your screen. 2 receivers also at the top of your screen. Jenkins in the backfield with Jansen. Jansen the shotgun snap. He wants to throw, looking far side. Quick hitter to Braden Hills. That's complete. And slow to get up is Hills. That's Xander Witt who made the reception. Play is good for about 5. It's 2nd and 5. Jackson up with the ball again. Jansen wants to throw. Fires over the middle, and it's almost picked off. Intended for Braden Hills, and pass broken up there by, I believe, Stoddard. That was Stoddard. Did a good job to break that up. Some of the Jackson fans thought Stoddard was in there early, but it was intended for Hills, that slant pass over the middle that was good for a touchdown not long ago. This time Stoddard stepped into the pass and knocked it away from Hills. So 3rd and 4 for the Broncs. Ball just outside the 20 of South Fremont. Big play here for Jackson. Jansen to throw. Flush from the pocket and sacked. Right around the ankles, in on the sack is Jackson Darren, it looked like. Blitzing on the play, and that'll be a turnover on downs, and that was Pretty timely sack by South Fremont. Jackson will call a timeout to stop the clock at 2:31. But the sack will turn the ball over, and the Cougars have it now at their own 30-yard line, it looks like. We'll keep it right here. So Jackson's comeback bid just too little too late, and South Fremont having none of it. Had a bit of an answer themselves. It's 34-14, 20-point lead for South Fremont. And Jackson, well, it looks like the Broncs still looking for their first win on the road as they've enjoyed the confines of William T. McIntosh Stadium. They got 2 wins there, including an upset win over the Beast of the East, Douglas Bearcats. That was a pretty surprising win in week 1. And then the beatdown last week of Wood River, 55-12. So Jackson has feasted on home field, but on the road, this has been a different Broncs team. And that's one of the things that younger teams have to learn, how to find ways to get off the bus with that energy. You don't have the home crowd with you. It's something Jackson is yet to figure out. The Broncs still have the ball. I guess it's 4th down and 10. I thought that was a 4th down play. So Owen Jansen is going to throw here, firing downfield. He's got a man. That's Braden Hills with a reception down at the 10-yard line. That's a first down. So that was a 4th and 10 play, and Jansen finds Braden Hills. And what else has Hills done besides kick? He's caught a touchdown pass. That was a big one. Hills will now line up in the slot right side, just inside of Xander Witt. The snap, they're going to look incomplete, looking for Hills there, and he dropped it. That'll bring up 2nd and goal from the 10. 2:18 to go on the clock. Jackson trying to stick it in the end zone one more time. And now Owen Jansen, is he coming out of the game? No, he's just coming to the sidelines to get the play. Pass intended for Hills in the backfield, and Braden kind of took his eyes off it and was wanting to know where the defenders were, and he just dropped it. But that was a big pass play to Braden Hills, who made a nice catch at the 10-yard line with under heavy pressure. Owen Jansen, 2 receivers left, 2 to the right. Jenkins in the backfield. Jansen wants to throw. Now he's going to take it himself. Got a lot of room, and he's down to the 5-yard line, just inside the 5 to the 4, short of the first down, short of the goal marker. It'll bring up 3rd and goal from the 4. And a good job by Jansen to identify there wasn't anything there, really. And he saw a huge gap on that left side and simply went with it. Almost stuck it in, but couldn't quite get there. Big play here, 3rd and goal from the 4 for Jackson. 4 down territory, you bet. Brunner to the left. Now in motion is Hills. Snap, and they want Brunner left side on that slant, and it's incomplete. Maybe one too many times Jackson has gone to that. Jansen to Brunner on that slant left side, and it just missed. It'll bring up 4th and goal from the 4. 1:38 to play in regulation. Jackson trying to make this final score look a little more respectable, down by 20. They'd love to stick it in the end zone here and take that bus ride home with that kind of thought on their mind. Trips right, Sebastian Brunner, the lone receiver, to the left. Jansen with Jenkins in the backfield. Snap to Jansen. Again, he wants Brunner on that slant, and again they miss it. Incomplete. Ball a little hot to handle for Brunner, and Jackson turns it over on downs. South Fremont will take over at their own 4-yard line. Jackson tried to go to the money play one too many times, and the timing just not there. South Fremont had Brunner double covered. It would have had to have been a perfect throw, and Jansen just couldn't thread the needle there. And now the Cougars take over. Ball at their own 4 with 1:34. Jackson has, I believe, 2 timeouts remaining should they choose to call them. They have at least 1. And the Cougars line up with the ball deep in their own territory. They got to be careful here. We'll see how aggressive Jackson wants to be, dialing up the heat. Johnson will take the snap from behind center, and he just plow ahead on the quarterback keeper. Good job by Jackson to kind of stop that off. Johnson has a couple Out across the 5 to the 6, gain of 2, 2nd and 8. Meanwhile, clock ticking away, and that's all South Fremont cared about, is running something safe to get them a little further away from the shadow of their own goalpost. Nobody calling a timeout here with the clock ticking, minute 5 and counting. And South Fremont happy to just let it roll.
South Fremont coaching staff, unreal defense, unreal offense.
Cougars looking to go 5-0 in the season. Jackson with the loss would drop to 2-2. As Johnson now goes into the shotgun. 2 receivers right, 1 to the left. In the backfield, it looks like Hadley Hills. The give is to Hills. No, that's Hobbs. And he's stacked up by the Jackson defense. He's out across the 10 to maybe the 11. I think he's going to be just short of the first down. 30 seconds, probably won't matter. As the South Fremont crowd starting to get into it now as they sense the 5th win of the season to no losses for these Cougars. Clock ticking away, and I believe the South Fremont will have to run one more play, maybe not, and they will come up to the line and probably just take a knee here with the clock ticking. 5 seconds, 4. No, they will not have to run another play. That'll do it. So this one in the books. It's a final. As Jackson still looking for that first road win, comes up short here. Just could not get back into the ball game. South Fremont just too good. And boy, if you're looking for a player of the game, I think he's wearing number 9 and in maroon, but we'll keep it here as both teams line up for the midfield handshake. Again, Jackson drops to 2-2 after this loss as conference play begins next week, and it won't get any easier for these Jackson Broncs as they will host the defending champions of the 3A, Cody, in Jackson at William T. McIntosh next Friday. And boy, that'll be a real emotional battle between these two teams. Congrats to South Fremont, who moved to 5-0 on the season. They looked very, very good. Certainly, they've found a quarterback to take over for Sean Peebles as Bryce Johnson looks pretty legit for South Fremont. We'll take a quick break, come back and recap this one and wrap it up for you. You're enjoying Bronx football on Jackson Hole Radio and the SVI Sports Network.
All around the Cowboy State, schools are back in session, and YDOT would like to remind drivers to do their part to make the roads safer. Know where your school zones are in your area and slow down whenever you're nearby. Don't be distracted while driving. This includes talking on the phone and texting. Watch for buses, vans, and cars that are loading or unloading children, and never pass a school bus that has its stop sign arm extended and red lights flashing. Let's work together to make this school year a safe one. This message paid for by YDOT.
Here's your voice of the Jackson Broncs, Jake Nichols on KZ95.
Well, back to South Fremont High School in St. Anthony, Idaho, one final time as this one in the books, a final. The score, South Fremont 34, Jackson 14. As we zero in and keep an eye on the field huddle, Coach White going over some teachable moments for this team. You know, you can learn everything. You can learn anything in a loss. You can learn anything in a 20-point loss. And Coach White going over those finer points. This is his first year leading the Jackson team and just trying to get a few things straightened out. Jackson on the long 2-hour bus ride home coming off the loss. So Jackson moves to 2-2. Again, that's overall record. Nobody's played a conference game yet. First one coming up Friday against Cody. South Fremont with a win moves to 5-0. And that will do it for us here in South Fremont. Sure. Very happy to have you join us here at KZ95, Jackson Hole Radio, and SVI Sports Network. All the action tonight brought to you by Jackson Lumber, Jackson's original board store. The town square inns of Jackson Hole, including the Antler Inn, Elk Country Inn, Cowboy Village Resort, and 49er Inn and Suites. Great Northern Coffee. Try their Old World roasting style. It makes all the difference Wyoming Department of Transportation, keeping our highways safe. From St. Anthony, Idaho, for Jackson Hole Radio, I'm Jake Nichols, wishing you and yours good night. We'll see you down the road.